thoughts of you were sinking. Point stands, but I'm still overthinking. You know you don't really call me like you used to, but I know you try. But I've heard you've been here before. But I won't stay the same, it's just what I'm used to. Some things don't ever change, I know it's me and you. But I don't stay the same, I'm just adjusting to. Some things don't change, but I'm designed to be held on to. Babe, I wanna know, is it heartfelt or maybe just a little? Cause you don't really see me like you used to, but you hold on to me cause all you do is settle. I've heard you've been here before. But I won't stay the same, it's just what I'm used to. Some things don't ever change, I know it's me and you. But I don't stay the same, I'm just adjusted to. Some things don't change, but I'm designed to be held on to. But I won't stay the same, it's just what I'm used to. Some things don't ever change, I know it's me and you. But I don't stay the same, I'm just adjusting to. Some things don't change, but I'm designed to be held on to. If I stay still, the thoughts of you will sinking. Point stands, but I'm still overthinking. You know you don't really call me like you used to, but I know you try. But I've heard you've been here before. But I won't stay the same, it's just what I'm used to. Some things don't ever change, I know it's me and you. But I don't stay the same, I'm just adjusting to. Some things don't change, but I'm designed to be held on to.
That's it.
That's it. It's the end of the concert.
It's all over.
Hello.
You were lip syncing.
I was what?
Lip syncing.
Oh, I said lip syncing.
That's probably what I said.
Happy today.
Happy, what is today? Friday again.
The end of May, which is bananas. Because as I know how time works. But it's also crazy that how quickly May ended.
It's not over yet. We got one more day.
It's done.
Wow. Poor May.
Gonna be May.
Poor May.
May's fine. Everything happens in May.
Poor Nana.
Poor Nana. Oh. Poor Nana. Like the saddest line ever. In her little face.
Yeah.
Poor Nana. That dad was a wiener.
A wiener?
He was a wiener.
What do you mean?
He was so upset that they loved the dog more than they cared about him tripping over toys. Of course they cared about the dog more. She always yelling at him.
Tripping over toys is funny.
Dog doesn't yell at them.
Oh.
Nana just gives them their medicine and gives them hugs. Of course they care more about the dog.
He was a wiener.
He was a wiener.
All right, welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to Friday. We're here for another stint.
Yes.
Oh, are we doing that now?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you grabbing and saying nothing.
I didn't grab it.
There you go.
Salud.
Slancheva.
Salud.
You gotta stop doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tasty.
All right, right into it.
We are going to stop doing
I
this.
haven't had a shot in like a week.
It's probably most people. So I've learned that people our age don't do shots. It's just us.
Yeah.
Learn this.
Yeah, I know. We gotta stop.
Yeah. But people our age will drink a cocktail, but then they're like, shots too much. And but there's a shot in your cocktail. I'm not having a shot and then a cocktail.
I've never heard somebody say the word cocktail so many times in one sentence.
Mixed beverage.
Libation.
Sure.
But it's like
You know what I
cocktail
mean?
and a cocktail.
I find that so
Cocktail.
odd.
I wonder if you say it too many times, it'll flag YouTube.
Probably. We probably just did it.
Listen,
Because
you
if
can't
I-
be doing
If
that
I have
in the
it on
first
rocks
13
and
minutes.
sip it,
Yeah.
it's fine. But if you shoot it, you're like, we're too old to have shots.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well,
Well, people our age drink scotch,
that's what I'm saying. But I guess they don't. I mean, what's
but
the
they drink
difference
scotch, and scotch is usually like 2 shots.
Right.
And then you sip it, and it's gone just as fast as you drink 1 shot.
That's what I'm saying. Anyways, we're going to stop drinking. Just kidding.
We don't know where to start or stop doing. We haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah.
All right, but already we're back to our Friday, and yep, check out first thing patreon.com/Sarah and Scooter. That's Sarah with an H, and don't use an ampersand. It's an A-N-D.
He meant ampersand.
Ampersand. That is how he said
He
it.
said ampersand.
Ampersand. Ampersand. So yeah, go to there. We're gonna do some travel stuff because we're gonna start traveling for fun.
Yeah.
And work.
Yeah.
And do some, and maybe not some live stuff, but just some recording stuff. We're gonna put that on there.
Some audio.
I think we should put when we play Rock Band.
We haven't done that forever.
Maybe just film us when we're playing video games or
Do
playing board games.
We got to do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a new game coming. Logic and Lore is coming.
I don't remember that one. I don't remember how to play it.
Yeah, but it was, I think we have it's on our actual YouTube.
Yeah.
We have a little demo of when they gave us the demo copy of it last year. It's been a year.
It's crazy.
Over a year.
I'm telling you, something about time.
It was December of 2023
That's bananas.
when we got that game. When we got the demo of that game.
Jeez. That's why probably I don't remember it. I better remember
It was
December
very
24.
pretty. Remember, it was like, we were like, wow, this is so pretty.
That
It
sounds
had
like
to do
something I
with
would say.
numbers and flipping one, and
Once I see it, I'll be like, oh, yeah, that game.
okay. I
I
don't
can
think you
only hold so many things in
will.
this
Nah, I don't think
noggin.
so. Like 1, 2.
At most.
Okay. So yeah, and also sponsors of the evening and henceforth and hence back.
Okay.
How do you say in the back? Hence back?
No.
Henceforth and then hence.
No. I don't think I
Fifth?
think you're supposed to hints anywhere.
Okay, I'm hensing. A Lever Consulting. Go to a Lever Consulting.
Mm-hmm.
Go to a Lever Consulting for a complimentary introductory consultation. Just mention that Sarah and Scooter sent you over there.
I think your root beer's kicking in.
What?
I think your root beer's kicking in.
Root beer?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't know what was in that root beer you
I
had.
don't either. It wasn't a root beer though. It was Liquid Death root
Yeah,
beer.
right.
So it had like
CBD, THC. What was in there?
water. Like it only had 10 calories and 2 grams of sugar.
And some other stuff, apparently.
Stevia.
Right.
Little Stevie was in there.
Sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
Minecraft Steve. No, I already said it.
Okay.
Leverconsulting.com.
.com.
Complimentary introductory consultation.
And our others is Yaya's Embroidery
Yes.
on Instagram. And if you mention her
Ooh,
or us,
top
sorry,
down.
get 10% off your whole order. And she does these things. She made my shirt.
Yep.
Boop, boop, boop. And she's fantastic.
She also made us happy.
She did. I need some more shirts for work.
You say this every time we get on here.
I know, but I mean it this time.
What do you mean? Those kind of shirts?
Well, I want that. They're all black, so I was hoping for a different color, because otherwise,
Like mauve,
what color is that?
periwinkle?
Is that pink?
No idea.
I only know 5 colors.
Periwinkle's like a purple.
I know I know Roy G. Biv. That's it. Anything else that's not that's outside of that, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Purple, kind of.
But look at these. Look at these hats. See these hats? If you're just listening to this, you should look over to the video. All right.
Or check our socials.
Yeah, check these out. It has all of our little sayings on there, like advise me not, shout out, good thing. Yeah, I think that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So check them out. Go to the mostly on the Instagrams. Yaya's Embroidery. It is linked in this video. So those 2 links to 11consulting.com and to Yaya's Embroidery. Their Instagram, make sure and check it out.
Nice.
And yeah, those are our sponsors. They make sure that this
keeps going.
this little boat stays afloat.
Yeah. You want to talk about some good stuff?
Oh,
I didn't check.
up to you.
I didn't check my buttons. You want me to push and hope for the best?
My buttons, baby.
Good thing. Buttons.
Yes,
Listen up, my buttons.
it is a song. Yeah, but nobody can hear you while that's playing.
Oh, that's fine. It's
So when
probably
you
for the
talk
best.
like that, it's like I have to repeat what you say
Nah, just let it go.
because I don't think you know how productions work.
So they don't know.
You just don't give an F,
Yeah.
which is that's one thing that I wrote down here.
Is that your rant?
No, it was in it was in advise me not
Oh.
of myself, because I was, and I'll just talk about that right now, because sometimes because we're like, because you don't give an F. I always said sometimes I'd really like to actually care less.
Oh.
It'd be really nice.
It's really
So,
nice.
Yeah, it's got to be nice for you. You're like,
Yeah.
I really don't care.
I have moments like that all the time.
I don't.
You do. You do.
I say it, but inside I'm dying. My
No.
blood pressure's through the
As
roof.
your partner, I've seen you. I've seen you not give an F, so
Okay.
I know you have moments.
All right, let's go back to good thing. I thought I would just say that real quick.
All right.
But she wants to dig more into me
I'm getting down to the
instead of
one good things at a time.
Jeez.
So I don't have a list. I only have one.
Me too.
Mine was on Monday, we were driving to go pick up a rental car, and there was a person who stopped their car to let ducks pass, and then the whole people behind him also, because they could have went around him, also stayed and let all the little ducks pass. And
Yeah.
I thought
Was
humanity.
a mama duck and like 3. I think
Yeah.
it was only like 3.
It was adorable, and I thought, thank you, humanity, for the little glimpse of hope that people are still good.
That people just still care.
Yeah, that was my
Yeah.
that was my good. I thought that
I
was
did
amazing.
see a bumper sticker says there's an I break for all animals.
Yeah.
It was, and it's like twice this week
Oh.
that I've seen something like that. But the bumper sticker said that, and it had the bumper sticker said that, and it had like a whole line of it was a very long bumper sticker, had a lot of animals on it.
I break for animals.
I do too.
I break for squirrels.
I break for birds.
Yeah. I don't even do it on purpose. Sometimes I get so scared they're gonna run into my car.
No, I just
break.
like when they're on the road and they're like eating something. I'm
food?
like, bro,
Yes.
like you can jump.
You can feel
You could just
the vibration.
go. You can just go
right.
and come right back. Like you don't have
I
to
know.
scurry over and go. You just fly
It's
up.
probably
and
not
come back
safe
down.
that we do it, but also I can't hit the animal.
No, not on purpose.
No, I'm just
No.
saying I need them to move.
Yeah.
The birds care the least. Squirrels will be like, they'll play chicken with your car. But birds are just like, what? What are you gonna do?
Well, especially the turkeys.
Oh God, they don't care at all.
We got gangsta turkeys.
They just stare at you.
They just
And they-
walk.
Well, I'll walk as slow as I want. What are you gonna
Yeah.
do? That was my shout
Like
out.
we're
And my
filming,
good thing.
filming the birds version of Sopranos. Get out of
Mm.
off my street.
They're scary.
It was intense.
Mhm.
They're intense. Yeah, my good thing that happened was the tenacity. Yeah. The result is good. The tenacity paid off. CJ's enrolled.
Yes.
He hasn't chosen any classes for school, but he is enrolled.
Yes.
And he took some of our advice because he did it online and enrolled, and it just wasn't kicking in.
Yeah.
And so he went in, stood in line, It was happening to a lot of people. He found out while he went in there.
Mhm.
And by the time he went up to the front, they found it, pushed it through.
Yeah.
And by that evening, he was considered a college student.
Nice.
So that was pretty dope.
He called and he's like, Mom, I've walked all over this campus today. He's like, they sent me here and they sent me here and they sent me here. I was like,
welcome
what
to
else
college.
are you doing?
Like, yeah, but also welcome to college.
Yeah.
Like, welcome to college.
Yeah.
Because it's always like that. It was like, oh, sorry that the class isn't here. It's in the so-and-so building.
Yeah.
That's 1.5 miles.
Yes. Literally.
Yeah. I was like, okay. I guess that's
right.
what I'm doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can I tell you the random thing that happened today?
You can.
Okay. I know it's not a good thing, but it was random. So, actually, never mind. I'll leave it at my shout out because it's kind of going in there.
Okay, now I'm
Sorry. I'll leave it at my shout out.
intrigued. Oh, okay. That was
I wrote a note.
very deflating.
Sorry.
All right. That was exciting for no reason.
Sorry.
That's how Sarah works, though.
Sorry.
There was a really cool thing that happened, but I forgot what it was. She
Yeah.
does that a lot. Oh, there's a really cool thing happened that we could have gone to, but it was yesterday.
I haven't
That's-
been a long time.
That's because you just decided
just
not to
stopped
tell
telling
me.
me, yeah.
Yeah.
For the best.
Funnier.
All right. Let's
Let's
complain.
do it.
Rant of the week. Rant of the week.
Rant of the week.
Good.
My bass tone sounds really good on there. On that little stinger. Is it called a stinger? Yeah.
I've-
Stinger.
What's your rant?
Welcome to the summer, people. Like we've this is the studio here is like the hottest room in this house during the summer. Oh, it is.
I think that Mariah's old room, though, these two are like the worst.
Yeah,
I don't know
they're-
what happened there.
Yes, it just doesn't get the ventilation
Yeah.
in here. Nothing. We have a fan going. It smells like old food in here.
It does.
And I was like,
Like old milk.
oh, and I don't even drink milk.
I know.
How would old milk be in here?
I was like, did I take my ice cream container out last time? I did.
Well, I emptied the garbage.
I don't know. It smells like.
Unless you threw it in a corner.
No.
Did you check under your blanket?
No, it's funny. I actually did. I did check my blanket.
Because I know you do like to leave trash.
I checked my blanket and my little foot holder, foot
Yeah,
stand.
you really do like to leave trash. Wherever you go. Okay. But yeah, for some reason, what is this today? Friday?
Yes.
Monday it was like 75 degrees. It's now 101.
Yeah.
So within 4 days, Sacramento has gone from pretty
That's nice.
nice springy weather
Yeah.
to the sun's trying to murder you, burst you into flames.
It's pretty rough.
No, I don't like it. Like I
Yeah.
feel sticky right now. I feel sticky when I get up. I feel sticky when I get out of the shower. I feel it's just
Yeah.
it's hot.
I was coming down the escalator at the airport and I was like, why is it hot? I don't understand why it's so hot.
You chose
But-
this life.
But the funny thing is, once I got off the escalator, it was fine. It was back to normal.
You chose
I was
this
like-
life.
I did choose this life.
This is a life you love.
I do. I love summer.
Mm-mm.
I love the heat. I love the nighttime when it's still kind
I
of
like
hot.
spring.
I like spring also,
I like spring better.
but I like the summer because then when you go to the ocean, you're not dying. Like you could actually put your feet in and it's reasonable.
Okay, whatever.
Unless you're in Washington.
Yeah.
Then it's never
That's
reasonable.
always you can always go in there.
All right, my rant.
Do it.
Listen, our kid graduated last week. Stop emailing me. Stop emailing me. Stop calling me. Stop
Yeah.
putting me on notifications about what's happening at the school. I don't know if you guys know. I don't care.
I'm at the point I was like, do I delete the apps?
Right. I was thinking the same thing.
Am I gonna miss
Do I need them
something?
for? Do I
Well,
need
don't
them
know.
for? Do I
I'm gonna
need-
wait. I'm gonna wait till like he's not in the system anymore,
Yeah.
and then I'll delete the apps because I was like, what if there's one last?
I
thing
know.
that
That's
he
why I was
didn't do?
like-
he didn't turn in a library book, or
Yeah.
he didn't turn in
But they'll
some.
email us.
But still, it's like
I know.
we're holding his
I
diploma,
know.
and then we don't get a message.
Yeah.
Well, I sent you on remind,
I
and I was like,
know.
I deleted.
I
that
know. That's
crap.
why I'm like, I'm scared to get rid of them, but also stop. I don't care that there's sports physicals in July. I don't
Nope.
care about the boys soccer game that's coming up next
Nope.
weekend. I don't care.
Take me off that mailing list.
Unless it is specifically about my kid, I don't care
Yeah.
anymore.
It's been a wild ride.
Yeah.
When it comes to how communication is so not, how do I say it? They expect you to read everything.
Yeah.
And they go, well, we sent it to you. I was like, what'd you send it in? They mentioned an app. And I was like, well, that's the 5th app. So I was like, check the other 4.
Right.
And I checked my email and my texts, but oh, I'm sorry, I didn't go into the message board that's under your class inside of. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I told you guys
Well, we did tell you. I was like, no, you didn't. You posted it somewhere.
Right.
You didn't tell me anything.
Yeah.
Telling me is like putting in an email.
Yes.
Send me a text. Like, I don't know.
I will say something to make us feel better. So I was at an appointment this week, and somebody showed me their spam calls from that day. They had 32. And I met them at 1 p.m. and they'd already had 32 spam calls. I was like, oh, makes me feel so much better. It's out of control right now.
Well, I'm working on my what is it called? Do not disturb settings on my phone. So if somebody out there is texting me and I don't get it, I don't respond like I used to, that's because I'm messing with my phone settings. I have work settings till 9, and then after 9 it's do not disturb. I just turned it all on.
Yeah.
And I missed like a text and a phone call from somebody. I was like, oh, whatever.
Working on it.
It's totally fine. But I was just like the spam calls, the random.
It's out of
you
control.
Can't click on when you say accept cookies.
The thing I get annoyed on is that like you report the number or you block the number and they just change 1 digit and they call you again, and I'm like, or you answer, because I've been answering it, and they're like, oh, hit 9 to get off the list, and so I hit 9 and to get off the list, and the next day it's just 1 digit changed and it's the same friggin' company, and I'm like, dude, you're killing me, Smalls.
No, I know.
Stop calling me.
But it's a lot, and I'm just wondering, like, it's got to be lucrative,
right?
It's got to be working.
Yeah.
I mean, the funniest. Speaking of the spam and that how things are working on that, something. Oh yeah, I was watching another podcast, the YMH, Your Mom's House stuff, and it was in the Bay Area, I think it was, somewhere, but no joke, somebody sent $160,000 over a course of like a year and a half to somebody that reached out to them on Words with Friends.
God.
Remember that game?
Yeah.
And was chatting with them on there because she thought it was actually Keanu Reeves.
Oh, jeez. What kind of Reeves need your money?
He was going through legal problems. So she sent him over the time, $160,000 in Bitcoin.
What?
To Keanu Reeves.
Was she old?
She has to be probably about my age.
That's not old enough to fall for
50s.
that. I'm sorry, it's not old enough to fall for that.
I say in her early mid 50s.
You guys invented the scam. You guys invented the scam. Like, your generation is, I mean,
insane.
It's not old enough.
But
to fall
they
for
interviewed her. Her face was. I was like,
why would you?
Does she? I was like, doesn't she have like kids that go, Mom, don't do this interview?
Well, look at when my Aunt Gwen did the same thing, right? Maybe she was giving money to. So we didn't know until after she had passed that she was giving money to some random person. Like, you don't know.
But
they're not talking about
she
it.
wasn't doing well, I think, when that happened.
Yeah, but still, if the person's not bringing it up, why would you know?
Yeah, but I'm talking about like at the end.
Yeah.
When they were doing the interview.
Oh.
Like the news crew went there and talked to her, and they did a video interview and put it on the news and stuff. It's like, that's when I go, you don't want to put yourself out there as this.
Now they're like easy target.
Not just easy target. It's going to be hard for you to get a job.
Yeah.
Because they're like,
because you also don't have common sense.
This lady.
Obviously.
We want her to be a cashier. She's like, oh, you look like Keanu Reeves. Here's more money back. Yeah.
Rebecca and I were talking about this, about the one, because somebody that she knows, one of the old people she knows, got scammed on that whole your kids in or your grandkids in jail and we need some money for it. And we were laughing because we were like, there's nobody in our family who's going to be like, let me send you some money. They're going to be like, good luck to them, because I'm not billing.
Because I was getting something at one point, and it was a legal thing, and I reached back out and going, who is this person? And it was actually like somebody was related to me, but they just sent it out to their family kind of thing. And the lawyers found everybody that was part of their family. And I was like, I have no idea who this person is. Though.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, obviously,
Yeah.
I don't know how many kids my parents actually have. I don't think they even do, or the world does. They just don't. So yeah.
Anyways.
Getting scammed, baby.
Scams and spams. All right. Well, look at how fast we're going through. What's up in you?
Okay.
You can finish your first beer. I only have 2
What's
things.
up in your area? So what's up in your area?
Olympia, Tacoma.
Olympia, Tacoma. What's up in you?
Adam Carolla's going to be there. I don't know how I feel about it.
Why?
I don't know if I find him funny anymore.
I don't know. I haven't really followed his stuff.
Yeah, but I feel like
in a long time.
if you're looking for comedy, Adam Carolla's going to be in the area. Where?
The last thing I saw with Adam Carolla was pretty recent, but it was, what is that one guy that was on first Deadpool, and then he went on a weird rant, and they found out there was something wrong with his actual brain, and then he got surgery, and then remember his friend in Deadpool,
the big tall thin white guy, the bartender.
Yeah, curly hair.
Yeah,
and he was actually quite funny. He went off the rails. Yeah, he went off the rails. Like, was saying some verbally saying, not just tweeting them, but recording some saying really crazy stuff, not cool stuff.
Yeah,
and so he kind of was under the radar for a while. They found out he had something actually wrong with his brain.
Crazy,
from what I understand.
Yeah,
and they some sort of surgery. I could be totally wrong in this too, but but he was just recently on Adam Carolla's whatever thing, and I saw a little snippet of that. That's the last thing I used to think it was very funny, like when he did the Man Show, with Jimmy Kimmel. Loved that show. Also really loved the Contractor one.
Yeah,
that show that he would go in there. He would basically, it's like, what is it called? What was the Catch a Predator?
Yeah.
But he was doing that to contractors in LA. I think he was catching people that were really bad, shady AF contractors and screwed people over. Yeah. He was finding them. And then also was going in and fixing the problem.
Yeah.
Because that was before he got into entertainment, he was general contractor.
Yeah. That'll be an Olympia area.
I just haven't followed his stuff in 15 years.
Yeah. Speaking of Jimmy Kimmel, did you see the video of him with the wax statue in his building, in his office, and he was terrifying his employees? Did you watch it? Okay.
No, he does that in different areas.
So it was super cute because
he does it with celebrities sometimes.
His cousin works for him, and so he figured out that she was the most susceptible. So he just, everywhere she went, she just kept doing it the whole time. She's just like, oh my God. Every time. So the last time he instead of the wax figure, it was him.
Yeah.
So he put himself in there, and so then he moved, and then she threw her phone. And anyways, it's freaking hilarious. I recommend.
I do like the scare videos. That's kind of happens to be on my feed, my social feed of people scaring people in offices.
I think you'll like it.
The little when the boss comes in there, and I was like, oh.
I love people getting scared.
I like that they put this one monster thing in the corner, and the guy came around the corner, saw it, and just punched it. I was like, that'd be me. I'd be like, tried to kill it.
Hilarious. Okay, and then Sacramento.
What's up in you?
So there's 2 things. There's a white party at the Kimpton Sawyer to what's the word? To start off summer. And it sounded nice. Saturday, 7 to 11. But also in Thomas, it's our first farmers market on Saturday.
Yeah, and that's tomorrow, and you're not going.
I can still go. I won't, but I could. Because it starts at 6 a.m.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, I can go before.
Yeah.
Again, I won't, but I could.
That's up to you.
Yeah. All right. So I got for What's Up.
That's it?
That's it. I'm trying to cut it down.
Shout out!
Woo!
I really don't have a lot.
I only have one.
I kind of have one.
You want me to go first then?
Go ahead.
Okay. So today I went to an appointment, and it was at the school, And I finished the
At a school.
at A school, sorry. I finished the work I was doing, and the lady was like, "We are doing actually a goodbye party for one of our
yeah.
employees. Do you want to stay and have some food?" At this point, I'm already running late for my next appointment, but I didn't want to be rude and be like, "No, I have to go." So I was like, "Of course I will." So they had it was like a whole like potluck. So there was tons of things. There was biscuits and gravy, mac salad. Somebody had made like these refried beans with ribs in it. It's a whole spread.
Yeah.
So I just got a little plate, and they're like, "Your plate's too small for how much food's here." And I was like, "Well, I can't hang out with you guys forever. Also, I don't really know you." No, I'm just kidding. I said I just can't hang out forever. But it was so cute because it's an elementary school, and all the chairs were like this big. Like you had to do a real squat to get down there, and the tables were also really low. And I was like, "Who's sitting here?" So I squatted down to my little tiny table, my little thing, and so
Did
we
you just get one cheek on the chair?
no, half. I mean, it was half and half. The rest was hanging off the edge.
So you had to cheer up your butt crack.
I did. The chairs were so.
No, I agree with.
Sturdy.
I would have been on the side with one cheek in, one cheek out.
You would have fallen over.
Now
It was
that'd
enough,
have been funny.
enough for center. But my shout out, they were so kind, and they just let me sit and eat, and we had chatted about softball and life, and that's where I was from, and it was so welcoming and kind. But the other random thing, which I was gonna talk about earlier, we're talking about now, is I went to get a sparkly water because they had sparkly waters, and I thought it was lemon because it was yellow, but I get it and it's pineapple, and I was like, I love pineapple too. But the hotel had also given me a water with a dum dum on it, and the dum dum was a mystery flavor. You know what the mystery flavor was?
No.
Pineapple. I said, "What kind of pineapple day am I having today?" It made me very happy. I love pineapple flavored stuff. I was like, 2 pineapples in a row? It's great. That was my shout out. Pineapple and letting me eat food with other people. And it was I was telling Scooter, it was so interesting because like at the school, it's a private school, but there were only 2 males that work at the entire school. And I just thought, maybe this is normal, and I've just never hung out with like all the teachers before because they were all in there for the end of their year meeting. Or I was just like, this is odd for me. Because growing up, most of my teachers were guys. I didn't have.
Yeah, and I think I was having that discussion with you. It was like, this is not a normal school.
Right.
Yeah, you're going to a Christian church-based school.
Yeah.
That is actually a lot more common from what I remember.
Mhm.
Now, I haven't been part of anything like that for a good 15 years
Yeah.
or so. Good, maybe 20 years. But from what I remember, I mean, it's like when you go into a church, a typical Christian church, evangelical church, whatever, there's no men working in the daycare. That's just wasn't a thing. And then if they had a school, there was no men in there. There might be a VP or a principal. There might be a guy, but as a teacher, it's pretty rare.
I do so many of them.
So I'm just saying,
and the names, I feel like there's way more men.
Maybe, but
Yeah, even
I'm
in
just
the
thinking,
daycare.
and my experience also is just in the
Yeah.
Pacific Northwest. It's
Right.
in like the, what is it, like Olympia area ish.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. Again, I see usually way more male names in the mix. I was like, 2?
but that also, could also be
Interesting.
demographic.
Yeah.
For where we're at and those
Yeah.
kind of things. Because again, in those areas, you don't see. There's not a lot of black people there.
No.
There's not a lot of Middle Eastern people there. There's not a lot of Asian people there. There just isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the percentages, like it's like less. It's like 5%.
We couldn't live in Mission Viejo. That's where it was. We couldn't live there. I would raise the POC by 100%. No, I'm just kidding. It is very
Yes.
one thing.
Really?
Maybe 2. Because I've been to parts of Mission Viejo that's very like Asian heavy
Mm-hmm.
or like white heavy.
Right.
But there's not a lot of like mix.
Oh.
Which is funny because you think it'd have more of a Hispanic population.
I have to say, I mean, they're
In the name Spanish.
as we've been in this area because we've been in this area 12 years, 13 years in this area. We are spoiled when that comes to that. I mean, we are spoiled with. I mean, we go on walks here in this area, and we can hear up to maybe 4 languages.
Yeah.
on walks, and we're not talking like we're not in the city.
No.
We're in a suburb on a little pathway walk through parks and stuff like that, and people walking by. You can hear a Slavic accent. You hear an Asian, well, Slavic dialect,
Right.
and then you hear an Asian dialect. Then you hear a Middle Eastern dialect of some
Which is
sort.
also Asian.
Tell somebody from the Middle East that.
They're on the continent of Asia.
Okay.
I mean, that's geography.
Okay.
I'm just
So-
saying.
Okay.
True.
It's,
They're on the continent of Asia.
just telling
That makes
you,
you
that's
Asian.
just not a thing. It's
That's
like
why the whole continent of we're North American.
if you're from India, are you Asian or Indian?
You're both.
Nope, you're Indian.
You're on the continent of
talk to
Asia.
somebody from India, and they will tell you something different. They don't. No, that's not a thing. We're not.
That's the only continent where it's not a thing. 'Cause you
No.
could be European if you're on the continent of Europe.
If you're from Mexico, do you call yourself American?
North American.
Do you call yourself American if you're from Mexico?
No, I'm not
No.
from Mexico.
If you're from Canada, do you call yourself American?
No one's
No.
okay, first off, no one's calling themselves American but us, because Yeah.
Again,
I said North American.
they're not. I was like, where? What country are you from? North America? No.
It's not a country, it's continent.
Where are you from? What kind of person are you? North American? Nobody says that.
Just saying.
They say Canadian.
I'm just saying it's not
If you say
geographically wrong.
American,
That's all.
no, geographically, but like socially,
I don't
it's
think
wrong.
they'd be offended.
I'm,
the only
I'm
people
not
who-
saying I'm not saying offended. That's not what I'm saying. Is
Because
offended.
only Americans get offended by stuff
Yeah,
like that.
I'm not saying offended. I'm just saying that's not. They're gonna go.
Yeah.
No, I'm Indian.
But if I was Canadian or Mexican, I would also be offended if you call me American.
yeah, for sure,
If you said I'm from North America, I'd be like, correct.
that makes sense.
So don't call me American.
I was like, but
It's offensive.
they're pretty prideful saying I'm from Canada.
Right.
I was like, I'm Canadian. They're
Right.
like,
North American Canadian.
mm.
All right. That's all shout outs I got. What do you have?
Honestly, it's one of those. It's kind of a shout out, but not really. It's looking at it from a father's standpoint. Shout out to Mariah. She's in school, doing well at some things in school, not doing well in some other things, which is just life.
Yeah.
So huge shout out to her for just keeping on.
Yep.
Because that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
It's the bootstrap thing, or we've talked about grit. I mean, it's your grit.
Yeah.
That's your grit. Like when you keep getting knocked down and you're trying your best, go, yeah, I failed.
Yeah.
I'm not a failure, right?
Yeah.
I failed at this. Let's try it again. Doesn't mean you're a failure. A
Right.
failure means you didn't try again.
Yep.
That's a failure. But yeah.
I sent her the Who I Am song. I said, listen to the song, replace Rosemary with Jacqueline, and replace Father with anybody else because you don't look like him. And I said, you can replace her with Mother. And so she sent me back. She's like, now I'm crying. And I was like, you have to remember who you are,
Yeah.
Mariah Janae. Remember who you friggin' are.
No, she's put in the work. It's not, I mean, so
Yeah.
you're gonna, the reason you feel like you're a failure is because you're failing.
Right.
But the people that you're comparing yourself to haven't done anything.
Yeah.
So of course they haven't failed. There's nothing to fail at because you're not progressing.
Yeah.
You're just living. I was like, well, you're not gonna fail if you're just hanging out.
Yeah.
If you're trying to get somewhere, you're gonna fail
Right.
and keep failing. But it's that whole thing of like progression is not that perfect hypotenuse angle
Yeah.
to the peak, right? It's you take some dips. And then you're like dips, and then sometimes they're big dips,
I know.
and then you come back up and go, okay, we're doing a little bit better than we did before.
Yeah.
That's it.
She's having and she's a very much a people pleaser and yeah, she's hard on herself, but she's having like the same issue with she has a summer plan that she's trying to do, right, with friends and things. And not everyone's invited, right? Not everybody can be invited to the party.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I don't know how to tell the people that they're not invited. And she's like, if we could just go and not say anything, but then she's gonna see us all together and then gonna feel bad, or I can say we planned it, but you're not invited. And
Well-
I said, either way, they're gonna be pissed off.
Yeah. So if somebody's okay, here, I know Mariah doesn't listen to this, but sometimes every once in a while, if you're not invited, you don't get an invitation.
Right.
It's
That's it.
it's just that simple.
Yeah.
So telling somebody they're not invited is kind of dickish.
Yeah, just
It's like, hey, we're all going to this thing,
Right.
but you're not invited.
you're not invited.
Okay, that's a dick.
Yeah.
If you just don't invite somebody, that means they're uninvited.
Right.
That they're just not invited. If
Yeah.
you didn't get an invite to a baby shower,
Right.
then you're not invited.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. Nobody's sending out you're not invited cards. So why are you telling anybody that they're not invited?
Yeah.
That's insane.
She just didn't know how to again,
you
people pleaser.
don't.
She didn't know how to soften the blow. And I was like,
There's nothing to soften.
Don't do
There's
nothing.
no blow.
yeah,
The only person that's going to take the blow is them because
Right.
they're offended by something that they've lived a life to get them to the point where they're uninvited.
Right.
Right? I was like, so if they're offended, that's not your problem.
Yeah.
It's really not your problem. What you want to do is invite the people you want to be around.
Yep.
And you move forward.
Yeah.
Because
that's
haters are going to hate no matter what it is.
Yeah. Yep.
You know? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just nobody sends out uninvitations.
sometimes I want to.
No,
I'm just kidding.
but the biggest flex, moving on.
Yeah, it's true.
The biggest flex.
Yeah.
It's just moving on.
I agree.
Yeah. So I'd say
Good
that
shout.
kind of thing for she's doing, I would say she's doing better than she thinks she is
Yes.
because she's growing as a person. Even if you're not growing in your field, you're not growing or in school or that.
Yeah.
But if you're growing as a person,
Yep.
big shout out to that. And also same with, I feel like CJ's growing as a person over the last just couple months.
Yeah.
We've seen some good social growth.
Yeah.
In him too.
Okay, I want to bring this up because it's not a shout out, it's just a thing. So I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about how like parents are so overprotective of kids that we don't really allow them to like go do things, right? We're so worried about everything that can happen to them. And so they were talking about this little boy, he was like 10.
We're the opposite.
Hold on. He was like 10 and he wanted to go to the store to go get milk. And so his mom was like, cool, it's down the street, go get milk. And people called CPS on her for letting the kid walk to the store by himself. And so they're like, well, part of the fear of these parents is not just like something bad could happen to our kid. It's like, what's going to happen to me if I let my kid just go be a kid? Because now people are like, well, now they're not watched and now you're not taking care of your kid. And it's like, no, I just want my kid to be able to grow and feel
To do
safe
something
and
on his own.
be like,
Yeah.
feel
Be a kid.
responsible.
Be a kid and grow up.
And it's so funny because like when the first time, this happens for all the kids, the first time they say, I want to go drive somewhere that I feel is further than our bubble, I'm like,
I'm in the same boat.
panic mode setting in. And then they do it and I'm like, all right, bye. they do it successfully. And the next time they're like, can I go do this? And I was like, well, you've done it once. I guess it's fine now.
It is one thing. It was like, because I know CJ wanted to go on the freeway and do these things. And I was like, he's 17. You said he's a good driver.
He is.
And you've said and I haven't driven with him.
Yeah.
You say he's a good driver and you're a good driver. Like,
Thanks.
no, just like you are. Like, there's
Professional driver at this point.
no, there's bad drivers out
Yeah.
there and you're a good driver. So I trust your opinion on driving.
Yeah.
Now, if it came to like, he's a good musician, I'd be like,
right.
okay. Ah.
Not
Or
those
wow,
topics.
that's a really good painting. I was like,
Right.
nah. What are you talking about? He sings like an angel. No, he does not. But you're a good driver,
Yeah.
right? So I trust that. So I was like, then when he asked to do that and he had to go on the freeway, and I was like, well, then we gotta let him go.
Right.
We gotta let him do it.
Right.
You know, because otherwise, why'd we even do this?
Exactly.
Right. And we kind of, I don't know if we lucked out or it was just the
Universe.
Our car has low jack in it. So if he goes over to 75 miles an hour, I get an alert.
Yeah.
He's capped out at 75.
Okay.
I think, or maybe 77.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that makes sense. I mean,
You
flow
gotta
of
pass
traffic.
people.
Well, no, you don't have to pass people, but
That's
flow of
true.
traffic sometimes is 75.
I went 80 something this week because people are a-holes.
Oh, I know. The more of the alerts that I get is when you're driving that little car. I was like, whoa. No, I think he's becoming He's not there yet, but he's becoming way more trustworthy and more open with what he's actually doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
You know?
To me, that was the funny part, because I had this conversation with Becca too, where I was like, it's so funny, the anxiety leading up to like him going the furthest he's ever gone, and then he does it one time, and now I'm like, go see the world, go wherever you want.
And our biggest thing is like, make sure you're leaving your home base, like your nest, in order before you go.
Yeah.
Right? It was like, you can't just leave a mess for somebody else to clean up and then leave.
Yeah.
And then drive away for 5 hours.
Right.
It's like, that to me, that's being a dick.
Yeah.
So you just can't do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Parenting's weird.
Parenting's it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah. And
so if you're scared to let your kid go do something,
good. That means you care.
Yes. But let him do it.
You gotta let him do it.
You gotta.
Well, monitor it. I was like, in this day and age, like, I mean, I can check where his phone is at any time.
Yeah.
Right. The car, you can, right, because of the low jack thing, I can check where that car is, like, right now.
Right.
And if that car and him are at the same spot, hey, we're in good condition.
Yeah.
But it's not like you have to do that all the time.
No.
But if
something feels off.
Well, it's about notice changes in behavior.
Yeah.
Like if he's been doing this for a while and then all of a sudden now he's like,
yeah.
He usually checks in.
Mm-hmm.
Why hasn't he checked in the last few hours?
Yeah.
Right. And that's kind of the thing. It was like, notice differences.
Right.
I mean, you got to be a detective. As a parent, you have to be a detective. And I'm not saying like detect, what they're doing wrong. You just have to be a detective in the sense of seeing the changes in behavior.
Yes.
Because if you don't see the changes in behavior, you're not being a good parent. You're not paying attention to what kids are actually doing. Like all of a sudden they're changing all of their friends.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Yeah.
Something's different.
Yep.
Or all of a sudden it was like, oh, you don't talk to this person? No, we haven't talked in weeks. And I'm like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah. I would say, what's the tea?
Yeah.
When that was the phrase. What's the tea, guys?
Yeah.
But I do miss when like Mariah and her friends would come over and they'd be like, Miss Sarah, can I share some tea with you? I'm like, let's go. What you got? What's going on? Now they just text me.
Do they still?
Yeah.
Only one.
Mo texts me. Both Mo's. Mo, Bella will still text me about stuff. Yeah. I like it. I like people.
That's one of the people
keep me in the know.
Invited.
It's not a conversation for us.
Like,
well, you don't know that. You don't know.
You know.
Also, I'm not gonna. This is an after show conversation. Never mind. I was like, you know what else happened?
Yep.
Never mind. All right, let's entertainment this week.
All right, entertainment of the week.
I have two. I aren't even that good, but I have two. I'm rewatching all the Mission Impossibles again. Out of order, but I'm going to rewatch them this weekend in order while I'm working.
Did you know here's a little tidbit. The original theme song was written in 5/4 time?
No. So if I listen to the first one, it's different than the second one?
I said, no, this Mission Impossible was a show way before it was a movie.
What? I'm just kidding.
And that's the original theme song.
Oh, crazy.
Written in a different time signature. And I think the first person, when did Limp Bizkit do it?
I don't know.
Remember they did that?
Oh.
They did the
2000s?
Yeah, was it?
Had to have been, because that's when they were relevant.
Okay. So you can do things before you're relevant, but
no,
that's
you
fine.
can't.
No, I don't know. I don't know what it was, but yeah. So where are you going?
Well, you talked about your entertainment.
But you didn't say yours. Oh, all right. Then mine. Guess we'll talk about mine. So there's a song that literally, I think it came out today. Holy smokes. If you guys know who Florence Pugh is, if you don't, look it up. Pugh. If you don't know who that is, then you're not in the loop of life. But that person, she starred in a music video, and yeah, it's kind of like when Sarah talks about Trevor Noah podcast. She talks about him a lot. I talk about this guy named Youngblood. He has a new music video, new song that got released this morning. I think it was this morning, called Zombie. And it is an homage, I'd say, to working nurses, showing kind of like their selflessness and the happiness that they get out of helping other people.
Yeah.
But how much it can really destroy yourself.
Yeah.
You know, not your self-worth or anything like that, but it not realizing, this is what I got out of it, not realizing how much good you're doing because you're just doing the thing.
Yep.
You know, and not really looking at yourself. And if you watch the whole video at the end,
don't ruin it.
But you got to just pay attention to the wings. That's
you just give it away.
No, you have to, because they're throughout the whole music video.
Yeah.
But you got to just pay attention to them. That's it. That's all I got to say. Because the first time I watched it, I was like, oh crap, what are those? And I didn't get it. So I watched it again and go, oh, now I see where they're at and when they happen and that kind of thing. So it was really dope. But she's the star of the music video.
Love her.
She's great. And there's no talking.
Yeah.
It's just the song. So it's all like, you know,
you just feel it,
emotional, and you can really kind of just hear what they're saying without them saying any words. And beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
That was my favorite one you've showed me so far from him.
Oh, they're all so good.
They're okay, but this one was really good, in my humble opinion.
You didn't like the one where he was running through the yard and so good.
That wasn't my thing. My other one was funny story. I didn't know we had HBO Max, and so I signed us up for HBO Max
2 times.
So now I learned we have it twice. For some reason, I thought it was gone.
We can picture in picture.
So we got to cancel one of them.
Max.
But I started watching The Pit. I watched the whole season. I really enjoy it. What's his name? The librarian.
You said it to me the other day.
I know. Almost said Noah. Grant.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
No, Wiley.
Yeah. No, when you said no, I was like, oh, I think that's it.
I really enjoy that show because it's like, it kind of reminds me of 24. It's like just the day in the life.
Right. Yeah, but it's a night in the life.
Yeah, and it's real. Because it's not. I hate doctor shows where it's all about a nurse hooking up with a doctor and there's too much love interest. This was just like, here is the show and here's what happens and here's the thing, and I was like, it's so good.
I've heard it's really, really good.
I enjoyed it.
I've watched you know, those YouTubers that are I'm a real doctor kind of thing. I've watched like 5 of them that have talked about that and says pretty darn close.
Oh, that's cool.
They said, I mean, of course, you have to make it look good in the angles and stuff. It's a lot messier than this, but it's pretty close.
Because there's some messy moments.
No, but it was like a lot of like things falling over and people tripping, and they were just saying it's a messier.
Yeah, there was one scene where
where
one of the interns, like, he has to go deal with the guy who's coming off of, like, he needs meds, but they have to basically hold him down in order to give him meds, and so everyone calls a body part, and unfortunately he has to get a leg, and the guy is like known to just do whatever, so he starts peeing on him. He's like, ah! And I was like, the funny thing is, I guarantee this happens all the time.
No, of course.
Oh, I couldn't get peed on.
The fluids.
Oh, I couldn't.
Come on.
I couldn't get peed on.
But you get bled on?
I couldn't do that either. So I'm not a nurse.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
It's not your bedside manner.
People love me. I have great bedside manner.
What?
I do have good bedside manner. I can't do fluids. If I didn't pass every time I saw blood, I could be a great nurse. I could dodge pee. But I couldn't.
No, because if you saw somebody do something stupid, you'd laugh first.
Yes.
That's not good bedside manner.
Is everyone I could
you're
be
an idiot.
I could be a nurse in the UK. Americans are way too sensitive, but I could be a nurse in the UK. They laugh at each other all the time.
Yeah.
Anyways,
it's a form
great
of
show.
endearment.
It is.
To laugh at another person.
So I think I'm not meant for here, but also not meant for London because I can't do rain.
So where are you meant for?
I don't know.
Some island that the English took over?
Yeah, somewhere.
Oh, all right.
Don't know what that is
you
yet.
poured a shot for me. So
I did.
let's go.
This is an advise me not shot. Are you ready to advise me not?
No, I have one more
Okay,
song.
then finish your song.
There's a song called "All My Friends" by A Day to Remember.
Is it good?
Yes, I played it for you. I mean, it just says says bad word, and I don't want to say it on YouTube. SH word, aw shucks. And it's kind of like, here we go again.
Yeah.
It's like,
It is a good song.
I'm just hanging out with my friends, having shots, and all my buddies are here. And we walk into a place, and everybody's like, the whole key is like, they walk into a bar, him and all his friends, and everybody, the other people is like, oh, we don't want any trouble. And they're like, no, we're here for a good time.
Yeah.
So it's just a cool, like, reminds me of Pink's Raise Your Glass.
Yeah.
Just very anthemic.
Yeah.
Makes you feel like we're going to the pub. We're going to go have some drinks, play some pool, eat some greasy food.
It's a very summer vibey song.
Yeah, and very just hang out with each other.
Yeah.
And sleep the next day because you drank too much.
Yeah.
And nobody got in a fight. It's one of those things like nobody got in a fight. Everybody's getting along. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, one last thing for me. I was listening to Wait, Don't Tell Me. And there was a lady on there whose name I don't know is on SNL. And she was saying that she did this. I don't know. I'm terrible with names. Okay. But she did like a thing where she said the line, men ain't, and then she turned to the audience and she said, she's like, never in the history of SNL has the audience said anything because they're not supposed to. They're supposed to laugh and clap. And so she turns to the audience and the whole audience says, ain't sh. And she's like, we got fined. She's like, I didn't know. She's like, I didn't even know it was a phrase. I was like, of course it's a phrase. She's like, I had no idea it was a phrase. I didn't know they were going to say anything because the end of my line was, ain't worth a damn. And so she's like, I thought I was just going to finish my line. I didn't know they were going to do anything. And so I was like, that's funny. That crowd, man.
That was a good crowd.
I know.
Obviously, it sounds like a really good crowd that night. You know?
But you know, somebody was like, okay, guys, remember, don't say anything. But there are just certain phrases where you're like, well, no, she looked at us, so she must meant for us to say it.
No,
that must not apply to us this time.
It's a salesman technique. It's one of those things when you do something that it's a normal reaction to do a certain reaction.
So now I want to see the clip.
All of a sudden she wants to watch SNL.
No, I just want to see that clip. Don't go crazy. Oh gosh. All right.
So that was mine. That was yours.
Yeah. Now we can advise
Sarah loves
cheers.
SNL.
That's not what I said. I just want to
push the button.
I just want
to advise me not.
I have a big chin.
Oh, stupid.
I had a 5-hour energy, so I am pumped.
Yeah, that's a whole ordeal. When you say, oh, if you go to the store, can you give me a 5-hour energy? Yeah. There was one left in the whole store.
It's banana. I can't ever find them. So
I went through every check because it's not in the energy drink aisle. I looked. Yeah. I thought maybe they had like a case of them because sometimes they sell them like a case of 4 or 6.
Yeah.
Nothing back there. Right.
So I was like, gas stations.
So I went to, I was going to go to the gas station.
Yeah.
So I went through every little aisle that they always carry them. Nothing. I was like, I guess we'll get some of this earthy.
Yerba, mate. Yerba.
Earthy, hippie, energy, leafy stuff. And then
probably better for me.
But then I went through the last checkout aisle because it was so full. I didn't want to go in there, and because people were already pissed that I was going through the other ones looking. They were like, "Why are you in my way?" I was like, "I'm not. I'm just shopping, bro." But yeah, there was one just sitting right in the middle of the box. I was like, "You score." So
I've never found them at a store.
So you got your 5-hour and your biscuits.
Did.
What were we talking about?
Now we can cheers.
Oh, advise me not. Mm-hmm. Thank you for pouring little ones.
You're welcome.
Actually, palatable.
Something you said set off mine.
Yeah, because men ain't
worth a darn.
So yeah, I don't know if we really have anything. My first thing that I said earlier was sometimes I'd like to actually care less.
Yeah.
and that was kind of molded into kind of a moment that I was having last night. I mean, we'll go to your topic too, but as it's like I want to just touch on it because that's been on my heart. Was checking in like on your emotions.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I make like some social media posts that
concern people.
They were like, "Hey, is he okay?" And I was like, "I was actually okay." I stayed up kind of late, but
every day.
Yeah, when you're not here, I definitely stay up late. But it was only till like 2:30. I mean, no, it wasn't like 7.
Right.
Someday
I know.
I will stay up all night sometimes when you're not here.
I know.
But good thing I'm sick. So it was one of those things. Is like I was in a good mood. I was watching some music videos. I was watching some funny stuff. I was watching some emotional stuff, and I go, "Huh, I should probably check in on my emotions." I was like, "Doing okay." Like it wasn't those things of like fake okay. It was kind of like, I'm not mad. Like DJ's still up. I can hear him, but he's not. You know, we got along.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always obnoxious, but so am I. I was like, we're just obnoxious people.
You got to like late night loud people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I talked to him about that too. I was just like, hey, it's not about us. It's more of like you have a window right next to the neighbors, so I get the luxury of having a wall. You don't. That was literally the conversation. But it was like checking in on your emotions, like even if it's good, bad, indifferent, all this kind of, are you checking in on them? Like, why are you feeling so good?
Yeah.
Why are you feeling? I was kind of going, I mean, there's a lot of things in my life right now that are not great. They're actually kind of sucky. But I'm going, oh, we kind of have a plan. We're working towards it. We're not just ignoring it.
Hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, our kids are doing something.
Yeah.
You know, all of our kids are doing something.
Yes.
It's not like they're just not doing nothing.
Yeah.
So I just felt like it was like, okay. And it was kind of one of those moments of when you're doing well, are you checking on your emotions? Because you're always checking on your emotions when you're doing poorly. But
are you? I mean, do people?
No, because I feel like when you're doing well, if you don't check in on your emotions while you're doing well, you might be ignoring something. And I think that's kind of like, oh, I'm doing great. I was like, but are you?
Yeah. I think as society-wise, I think we get stuck in that. When people ask, how are you doing? Most people just say, oh, I'm good.
I'm doing great.
Yeah. When reality,
good. How are you doing?
It's just a rote answer. You're not doing great, but either you don't want to tell people you're not doing great, or you don't want to open up that side of yourself to other people, or you don't know, or you don't even know how you're doing.
That was kind of that was my thought process last night when I was kind of feeling emotional, but not like bad emotional or sad emotional. I was like, I may have got a little teary-eyed at something.
Yeah.
But it wasn't my world is ending, you know, kind of thing.
I have a tendency to be more emotional when I'm not home. Way more emotional when I'm not home. And I don't know if it's because, I don't know, when I'm home, I'm just like, oh, this is good. This is good. Everything's fine. And then I have a moment where I'm just like, I am literally just by myself. And then I'd like have that moment of like, how's it going? And then I read something and I'm like, I was looking at this. Remember I told you about the lady whose mom went to a coma and she's in Japan?
Yeah.
And so she had this post about how she's like, when will the guilt go away? She's like, I was with my mom the day before she had like I can't remember what it was, something in her brain, like an ischemic brain attack or something. And I'm not even sure that's the thing. But she was like, I was there when she said her head hurt. I was there when she said she was having a headache and I didn't do anything. And she's like, so I'm feeling this guilt and all this stuff. And I'm reading it. And I'm just like, I messaged her back. And not that I didn't want to respond, but just mainly for myself. And I was like, it's been 3 years and the guilt hasn't gone away. The moments of like, why didn't I do more? Why didn't I know to do more? Like, and then I even told my kids, if something ever happens to me, burn it to the effing ground. Like, to make sure that everything's exactly what it should be, to make sure that you know that you've done your best, because if something happens at the end, know that you've done everything you could. But sometimes it gets too late and you're like, I should have done more. I don't even know if I knew what to do was more.
Right.
And then I was like, and I'm sitting there crying and I'm like, Mom would never want me to feel this way. Right? Mom would never want me to feel guilty about this, because she'd be like, you did all you could. What else were you going to do? What else did you know to do? But reading it, I was like, I'm not emotionally okay.
But you are. No.
Yeah.
How do I say it? It was like when you're in your emotions, when you're feeling like you want to cry because of something and working through like feeling guilty but you're crying about it and having to get that's a good thing. I think we have
I
to
agree.
that I mean, because that's called dealing with it.
Yeah.
If you're just swallowing it, you're not dealing with it. Next, you're a freaking murderer.
Right.
You know, it's just like you're dealing with it. Crying is coping.
Yeah.
It just is. Sometimes you gotta cry this thing out and talk it out and get the emotions, like, let's bleed it out. It's kind of like one of those big festering pimples, right? Sometimes you gotta pop that thing.
Ew.
No, but it was like sometimes it's gotta be flushed out.
Right.
I was like, I mean,
I agree.
so I think that sometimes we just check in and go, oh, we're fine. We're dealing with it. We're doing it's like, but yeah, we dealt with the thing, the physical thing, but we didn't deal with how you're coping with it. So sometimes you got to cry to cope, man. And I'm okay with not crying all the time, but I mean, every once in a while, it's like, when are you gonna? Crying sometimes helps you forgive yourself,
right? And I think that was one of the things. Again, not gonna cry. One of the things I was realizing was like I haven't. Right, I'm still at the point where I have forgiven myself, even knowing there was nothing more I could do. I still haven't forgiven myself, and that sucks. But that's where I'm at.
But I think that's most of us that, like I was saying, that actually care.
Yeah.
So I was like, forgiving myself is, if you're a person that actually cares,
right?
The hardest part is to forgive yourself. Forgiving others is a lot easier.
Yeah.
But forgiving yourself for the things you didn't do, or you could have done better, or you should have done this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think that's what crying's for.
True.
You know, because you don't sit here and when you cry, or just a person when they cry over a song, or a freaking, what is it, a TV commercial, or something.
Get you all the time.
Nah, I tell you, it's like, or you know, your favorite TV show or movie, whatever kind of thing. When you cry over that, isn't it mostly because you're feeling like you didn't do something you should have done?
Yeah.
I mean, usually, I don't know, or you're just like, wow, I wish I could be like that person.
Right.
Right? You're just like, wow, look how they dealt with it. And or you go, God, that was so awful for that person. I was like, I never really connected with my whatever, or I never really, or, you know, I just feel like it's something in yourself that's going, I'm relating to this person that either you should have done more, or you should have done less, or you should have done something different.
Right.
That's where you're kind of like, that's why it relates to you.
Yeah.
That's why a show that's very sad for you is not sad for the whole world.
Right. Yep.
Just not.
It's very true.
But if you can find that's why some of these movies that are so emotional for most people is because most people are not dealing with that specific type of emotion.
Yeah.
Like, always wanting to spend more time with their kids, always wanting to spend more time with their parents, want to spend time with their spouse, want to connect more with their friends. I mean, it's like, those are all very common. If you could make a movie or a commercial or something about any of those things, you've got tens of thousands of people crying.
Yeah.
You know,
very
like,
true.
Or the little guy that just couldn't do it and couldn't catch a break, and then catches a break at the end. I was like, oh my God. I was like, but yeah, I was like, I wish I could. Yeah. I just wanted to win.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
Like, yeah, that's what it's all about.
There was a moment today, I think it was today, or it was yesterday. I had missed 2 exits in a row. I was like, Sarah?
Like, you were 3 exits now further than you should have been there?
So I had got off early.
Oh.
I was in the lane and I was like, I can't get back over. My exit was the next one. So I got off early, and then it's like, okay, we'll fix it. Make a right. And I'm like, can't do that either. So I had missed 2 exits, and I was like, I can either tell myself that this friggin' sucks and ruin the rest of my day, or I can be like, here's another adventure. Let's go. I'm going to be 2 minutes later than I was.
Come on.
Who cares?
Do you know how many How many times my GPS reroutes? Like, I feel like sometimes Siri wants to go rerouting again.
Sometimes she doesn't even say anything. It just shows a picture, and I was like, "So, are you mad at me, or I'm sorry?"
Mine's always rerouting because I was like, I'm always thinking I'm smarter than my GPS, and I'm also thinking, no, I was, especially if I'm in Sacramento area, I was like,
I know which way to go.
Yeah, I can take this,
Right.
and then you go, oh, now I see. I see why she didn't want me to go this way. I was like, I'm just sitting here. Got it. It's all red on my map. This is great. This is great.
It's so good. It's fine.
I was like, this told me to take a ferry. Oh, I see why now.
But I am really trying to, like, that whole what story you're telling yourself. I am trying really hard to tell myself real stories, right? Not fluff stories, not be like, oh no, everything's fine even when it's crap, but to be like, no, in reality, what's the worst that's gonna happen right now?
There's this
what's going on?
But it's also, there's this song that came out. Another song came out today by Dury.
Like the fruit?
No.
Durian.
It's a band.
Oh.
But they had a brand new song. Came out today. Called More Dumb.
Okay.
And it's basically like they used, remember what's the Pixar movie where there's all those people in the 11-year-old's like brain?
The Emotions one?
Yeah. What's it called? Okay. Good for you. Inside
Out.
Are you sure?
Out? I'm not.
I don't know. All I remember is almost vomited on my microphone.
Ew.
It's been a long week. But it has to do with like there's two people in this guy's brain and he's going through like this anxiety thing. He's like, I'm thinking about this and doing all that stuff. And then the person inside there pushes more dumb button. I was like, oh, I can relax because I'm dumb now. It's just like, it was a very good depiction of if I could just be dumber.
Yeah.
And then I think the last button that they pushed was not self-affirmation or something to that effect. It was like, just be okay with being who you are kind of thing. It was like, it was a very cool song. And it's just it's a brother and a sister band. So, and they've been around for a little while, like 5 years. The kind of little shoegazy alternative kind of song, but came out today and I was like, oh, this is really good. I'll have to play it for you afterwards.
Yeah.
But it's called More Dumb by Dury. And I think it literally came out today.
Nice. Add to the list.
I'm always trying to find something new. I'm not one of those people. I do love listen to classic stuff too. Like I was listening to Bon Jovi earlier. Like we're talking old school.
The word classic is rough.
No.
Who decides?
It's from like 1982.
But
50 years ago.
Remember the conversation with your parents when you're like, were these oldies when you were young? And they're like, no, that was just music when we were young. So your music growing up is now classic music.
Yeah, that's okay. Just what it is. It's just what it is.
The day someone calls music classic, I'm gonna be pissed off.
Well, I'm telling you, 90s is considered.
It's not classic.
It's considered.
You better call it retro or something.
It's called old school.
No,
it is.
It's not.
Okay, but
the
stuff that I grew up on is called classic rock. Now.
Yeah.
It just is.
I like it was classic rock always.
What?
Just kidding. Just kidding. But I do like the checking in with an emotions, good.
Yeah, and it was one of those things it happened to me last night. I was like, I haven't checked in with my emotions in a while because we haven't gone to therapy in months.
Yeah.
So I was like, I should check in because I was like, I had a few beers in me. I was watching some emotional music videos and that kind of stuff. I was like, am I checking in? Because I wasn't crying, wasn't doing anything like that, but I was like, am I not checking in with my emotions because I'm not crying? Why am I not crying about this? This is very emotional,
Yeah, I have to do that sometimes when I get upset with people. When I feel like my patience is almost empty, my tank's almost empty. I have to be like, why am I so pissed off at everybody right now?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on with me because I'm a decently patient person.
All right.
I feel like.
Okay.
How dare you, sir?
I was just saying okay.
Okay. I'm a decently patient person, except for with
I
Scooter.
just took a little bit out of your tank right there.
You did.
Yeah.
Now I know why. But there are some moments
I think
where
you're
like
because your tank's full because you've been gone for 4 days.
I still have to deal with people. I have to deal with your crap. But you know what I mean? But there's some days where I'm just like, you could say one thing, or CJ could say one thing,
Yeah.
or like
No,
whatever.
no.
Anybody around me could just say one thing, and I'm just like, or God forbid I'm driving, because that's when I know
That is true.
that my tank's empty.
But you've been like that as a driver since I've known you.
Yeah.
You were the sweetest person I've ever met in my whole life.
you
Then you behind the wheel and I go, oh my God, let me drive.
I'm still a good driver.
No, I'm not saying you were a bad driver.
Just
I did
pissed
not
off.
say that.
Yeah.
I just said you're an emotional driver.
I am.
No,
I don't like when people make dumb mistakes.
you don't make reactions in driving because of emotions. That's not what I was saying. But boy, do your emotions
My
come out.
mouth.
Yeah, that's the first time I heard her cuss ever.
Yeah.
Was driving.
That's when
That
I
was
will
like
say
3
the
years.
worst.
That was 3 years in.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa.
Because that's the only time it doesn't make any sense
Driving
for people
Sarah
to be that way.
Driving Sarah is. Then I was like, that's the way the world is. Like, people are not nice.
But yeah, but there are some days when I'm driving. Like even this past week, I was like, nah, I'm good. Like my tank is my patience tank was very full. Like even now it's still very full. But there are some weeks where I'm just like, anybody who says anything to me today, and I'm just like,
do you feel it's pretty full now? Mine is.
Yeah.
Mine's actually quite
mine's
full.
very full right now.
It's not, I don't say it's very full because I don't have a lot of, I'm not at,
Yours
well,
is
it
never,
might be, but I
yours is
just
never full.
maybe my tank's just smaller. I think
a
that's
5-gallon tank.
no, I just feel like my tank is smaller than yours.
Yeah,
right.
fair.
So when mine's full, you can empty it quicker.
Yeah,
because there's not as much in there. But I was like, I feel like mine's pretty full for my size of tank.
Yeah,
it just is. Like, when somebody says something stupid, I'm like, all right,
yeah,
go be stupid.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Mine's pretty full.
Like, or when CJ says, when CJ says something stupid, it's like, all right, go be stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
yeah, because there's some days where CJ could say something crazy, and I'm just like, it's gonna be fine. And other days, I'm just like, shut your face. What are we doing right now?
I was like, all right.
Be like, what's happening?
I was like, all right.
His defense,
but I don't think he's. I mean, I think he's saying just as many stupid things, but they affect me less.
Yeah, because he doesn't. He's
I don't
not,
have to deal with it.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
But again, it's a patience tank, a tank patience.
But it's also like there's a difference between having a high school human that's hard to deal with and then somebody who's out of high school that's hard to deal with. You're like, I mean, it's like, it's kind of like that statement when you say it to this, if you say it to somebody that's a teenager and you go, can you just be stupid somewhere else? Don't you have to be stupid somewhere else? And they're, you say that statement and they get mad.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. But now when they become like after, then they go, don't you have to be stupid somewhere else? And then it's the SpongeBob thing where Patrick Star goes, no, not till 4. I was like, okay, like now we're there. I was like, you could just be dumb somewhere else. You know,
go be bored somewhere else.
Yeah, it's like go bug your friends, go bug your sister, go bug your
anybody.
Yeah, I was like, and because it doesn't really affect me, because it's not going to cost me any money. It's not going to. I don't have to get phone calls from teachers. I don't have to deal with all these things.
Yeah,
we'll see. I mean, but I did have one of those moments earlier. I think in our text thread when you were taking off.
A check-in emotion moment?
Yeah, and I was like, when I said it, I was like, well, that would be awful if that was the last text. That kind of thing.
What'd you say?
I said, LOL, see you soon, hopefully, love you. And I'm going, what did I just put in the universe? I'm dead. Because you were saying, because I meant it in my brain because you were running.
Delayed.
It was delayed.
Right.
I was thinking about the see you soon, hopefully. Not like see you ever.
Right.
I was like, what did I just put in the universe? I was like, that'd be the dumbest thing. No. So my brain, yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like, sometimes we do have to realize, go back and go, are we communicating with that person? Because that could be your last conversation.
Yes.
Let's not doom and gloom it, but it
It's
could
true.
be.
Yeah.
It just could be.
That's why even when I'm pissed off at you, most mornings, I will still give you a goodbye kiss.
Most mornings.
Most.
You're pissed off at me?
No. If I'm
You
pissed off
just
at
said
you,
most mornings you're pissed off at me.
if I'm mad at you, okay, let me say this again. I will give you a kiss almost all mornings, but there are some mornings where we're not getting along and I'm just like, F you and your mom, I don't want to give you a kiss today. But sometimes I'll force myself to do it because I'm like, if this is the last time, I want to make sure I give him a kiss. And he knows that I love him. I'm real mad.
It's just so you don't go to hell.
There's no hell.
Hell is for children.
Sorry. I don't believe in hell.
Just it's a
I'm not going
saying. It's a saying. Oh my goodness.
Which is crazy because that just means I choose to be a good person. I don't believe one or the other. I just choose to be a good person.
How some people can just be good people without thinking they're gonna burn in hell.
Right. Sorry, life I choose to live.
I feel like the burn in hell is kind of something that you teach your kids that you're gonna get punished.
Right.
And then they're like, well, that's working, so let's just do it till they're adults.
Yeah.
Let's just keep telling them that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keith said, just be a good human, right? Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not as simple as, yes,
It's
you're
like
right.
the common sense
Keith.
thing.
Common sense is not common.
Yeah.
And that's because I think it was the George Carlin thing. It was like, think of the most average intelligent person, the most average intelligent person you know, right?
Yeah.
Do you hang out with them? Are they really fun or whatever? 50% of all people are dumber.
Right.
Dumber. So that says you have a 1 in 2 shot of somebody who can hold a conversation with you.
Yeah.
So common sense is not common, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just not a thing. Okay. So what was the actual topic?
Checking on your emotions.
Oh, I thought you had a whole.
Oh, you want my other one?
No, not other one. That was my thing. I was like, I just want to say some things.
Well, we had.
And then you.
What advisement that is?
Pew, 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 pew.
What are you saying?
I'm finger gunning.
Well, why?
Well, the finger gunning.
I'm not emotionally happy about
I'm
it.
from Gen X. We do finger guns.
All right. So mine was
We snap when we dance.
I was listening to a podcast, obviously.
Trevor Noah.
I'm not gonna say. And
Obviously.
they were talking about when she had first she was first with her husband before they got married, that they decided on like 5, they each came up with 5 values that mattered to them and then rank them in the order that mattered. And then she knew that it was going to work out because of where they aligned. Right. So she's like, so it's not that we didn't always get along. We didn't always agree on every single thing, but our values and their order that they were in aligned. And I knew that it was going to be okay. And I thought it was nice because it wasn't like goals, like what do you want in your life? It was like, no, what do you value in your life? And where is that in rank and priority? And so my thought was, it's nice to have the conversation before you get married, but once life starts happening, are you having the conversation again of like,
right.
Hey,
recheck
let's check in? Because now that we have kids and bills and I broke my leg and I can't work anymore, like where are we at now?
And then after the leg's healed,
right,
the kids are now graduated in.
Yes.
I was like,
have we checked in again?
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be every life event.
No.
It just has to be every once in a while.
Or even if you're like, you know what, I know that this is important to me, but for right now in my life, this has taken priority. Yeah. And having that conversation with the partner being like, you know what we need to work on? You know what I feel like I need to work on is this. I feel like I'm not giving this enough value, enough time in my life or in our lives, and I really want to make this a priority.
We should talk about that.
We should talk
about that. Want to talk about that
now? Yeah, I just don't know what they are.
Okay.
Did you write them down?
No, I was writing down some things like that was a great conversation to have with somebody before you're going to be their partner.
Yeah.
Or even not if you're not married, even just be
A partner.
a partner of
Yeah.
any sort. So what I'm saying, what I'm finding out is throughout our history as a relationship, you're pretty shallow.
No,
Oh yeah, because I mean, you never talked about values at the beginning.
that's true.
You had a criteria
For
and
a person.
No, and they were all physical.
That's not true.
6 foot tall. I had to have random knowledge.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And say funny jokes.
Okay.
And be able to lift you.
There was more. No.
That was it.
No.
No, that was it.
No.
That was your whole Tinder profile.
That first off, Tinder didn't exist. Number 2, it was also family had to be important to you, and you had to love my kids like your own. Those were also on my list. Yeah. You just remember the physical things, but no, there was more than that. Again, I was very specific. When I asked the universe for something, I am very specific.
Family oriented?
Yes.
No, I wasn't.
You were.
I wasn't.
Okay, let me phrase that. You acted like you were. You gave off like, I think you wanted to be,
And
but
loving
you
your
didn't
kids
know
like
how
my
to get
own.
back.
1,000,000,000%.
Yes.
Like, I hated and loved your kids just like they were my kids.
Yeah.
Like, resented them, frustrated by them. They were my kids.
Yes.
From like probably within the first year, like these are my kids.
Yeah.
Like nobody F's with my kids. These are my kids.
Yes.
Yeah. So that part, but I feel like me being family oriented until that point, I think that made me understand what being family oriented was.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what it was.
Well, okay, but you have to think of too, when the first time we met, it's not like I was like, this is the perfect person for me.
No, we were just naked.
Yes. But also, it took a minute before I was like, okay, universe, are you sure? Like, we didn't get married within the first year.
No. Took what? 3 years? More than that.
More than that.
I think so.
Because
You said,
again,
live by yourself.
yes.
I was like, okay.
I had to see all the things. Because just because you're physically what I wanted doesn't mean that you were in my list of things that I had asked for.
So
I had
what
to
if in
see them.
retro? What if in retro you find out that I really didn't like Warehouse 13 or Avatar: The Last Airbender?
We'd be done.
Because that was
Our
that was
whole
the part-
relationship's been a lie.
That was part of your criteria. I felt like it wasn't part of the questionnaire, but I was like,
Well, because that
I
just
feel
told
like
me
you'd
we
be
had the same sense of
you're
humor.
weird.
If you didn't think those two shows were fantastic, then what are we doing?
Yeah, I agree with that. No, I agree with that.
What are we talking about right now?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I do feel like we have a similar sense of humor. And what's funny about that is you don't present that some of your sense of humor to the world.
No.
As much as you present that sense of humor to me.
I agree.
Like she has a dark sense of humor also. A very like, whoa. That's
But
funny.
dark.
Oh, it's not death. It's not death and dismemberment. It's more of like it can be a little
Funny's funny. What are we talking
poop
about?
fart,
We got moments.
poop fart sex joke.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's many people in the world that know you that go, Sarah would think
Well,
that's
I don't
funny?"
think there's many people in the world that know me.
But if you understand, yeah, and I think that's a big part of it. So if you understand, because most people that know me personally know that a sex joke is funny, a little racy joke is funny. Just as long as your intentions are good and the joke is good. If it's a bad joke,
Yeah.
it's gonna be awful. So if you enjoy my sense of humor, the type that gets a little off, you'll understand Sarah actually thinks those jokes make her laugh.
Can be funny.
They
Sometimes
do
they're
make
not
her laugh.
funny.
They do make her laugh.
Okay, he said, question. Do you believe Gen X had to live with their future spouse before marriage?
What?
Do you believe Gen X had to live with their future spouse before marriage?
I think they should have. I don't think they did.
No. Who's Gen X? You?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys just got married.
In 1980, I
Right.
think was
thought-
the last NX,
Mine did too.
right? It was born before it was between like 65 and 80 or something like that.
Yeah. I think it's such I think it's such an odd thing for it to be so looked down upon. And I really, really think if you look at other nations, it's not as uncommon for people to live together before they're married than it is.
Depends on the other places.
Yeah.
I mean, some places you have to be married
Yeah.
before you even know each other.
That's true too.
So
Yeah, but like I was thinking like Britain. But I feel like how do you know that you're compatible? And to me, it's like you don't even have to sleep together, but I feel like you should live in the same house to be like, I know what you're gonna say.
the doctor discussion.
Which doctor discussion?
My doctor discussion.
Go ahead.
Talk about we were talking about the living and don't have to sleep together. It was
Yeah.
like this came from my doctor's mouth just the other day. It was like there's this thing, I mean, whatever it is, like we do like to have people from Gen X. We're looking into making sure that they're all HIV tested. And he said, because Gen X really like to do a lot of things and have a good time. And that's what he said. And I was like, yeah, we did. Like, it was like, now, yes, I was like, Gen X was that way. But I think the question where Keith is going, do you believe Gen X had to live with their future spouse before marriage? Had to? No. Should have? Yes.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, but I think there was some of that trickling of the boomer generation that birthed us, whatever.
It wasn't acceptable.
That you had to be married before. Because I got married and then lived with a person and we were already having sex, but that's how we could continue to have sex.
Right.
That's how the parents would give us blessings to
Right.
keep having sex because now we're married.
Yeah, now it's fine.
Yeah, I'm just like, so that was kind of the first.
Yeah.
And I was married at 19. I think there's a lot of Gen X people that were married young.
Yeah. Because they want to have sex.
No, I mean, because they want to have sex and
their families still like them.
yeah, and still have family.
Yeah.
It was like, how do we do both?
Keith said, I agree. Boomers divorced, and that made an impression on us. I think that's also the interesting thing is that, like, we'll go boomers and Gen X. We're very like, you need to get married, but also it's okay to get divorced 17 times and just keep getting remarried till you find the right one. And we're like, the younger generation's like
3. Okay.
Okay. So far. I'm just kidding. The younger generation's like, I don't want to get married until I'm really sure. But my family looks down on me because I'm living with this person, but I'm not sure that I want to be forever with this person yet. Like, I don't know that I want to make that commitment.
Yeah.
Versus the family being like, well, just marry them. If it doesn't work out, just divorce them. That's bananas to be like, just get a divorce if it doesn't work out. How about I just don't get married? Well, that's not okay. Now you're living in sin. What? Crazy talk. Crazy talk.
I find that strange.
Yeah. Because divorce sucks, guys. I don't know if you've done it, but it's awful.
No, I have no idea.
I really wish that you had to go through, and I know churches make you go through like marriage counseling before you get married. A lot of them do.
Yeah.
But they should also make you go through what it feels like to go through a divorce before you get married. Be like, let me show you what it feels like if this doesn't work out. But also, here's what a good marriage is supposed to feel like. Like, let's go through all the steps real quick before you guys jump into this.
Yeah.
Let me show you what divorce
is like,
proceedings
let me
feel
go
like.
through all your clothes, and you have now one pair of everything. And that's it. I think that's the closest you could show a kid, a teenager, what it means to go through divorce. Would be like, let's look at your wardrobe, pick one outfit, and that's all you have.
Yeah. Well, and the crazy,
I feel like, and that's because that's their little world,
right?
It's like, let's go through all of your video games, right? Your video game system, right? You still have the system, but there's no games on it.
Yeah.
Like, these are things that would show you what going through a divorce is, because it's literally rebooting your whole life.
Yes. And let me show you what it feels like going through divorce with children. So, your puppy, you only get it one time this week.
Yeah, you can't talk to it.
You cannot talk to it for the rest of the week.
And every time you see it, it just wants to bite you.
Right.
That's it.
I wish those were conversations people had before you had to get married. Like, Here's why you need to make it. Here's before you walk down this aisle, just because you want to sleep with this person. Here's what it actually can look like if it doesn't work out. Here's what all the emotions, like, have a whole conversation with people who have gone through it and have gone through rough times. Like, I feel like there should be a whole thing.
It is.
Should be a class.
But that's never going to, it's never going to teach certain people.
I know.
There's certain people that we have 5 kids.
Yeah.
Right. And some of our kids will never, ever hear what you're saying until they go through it.
That's true.
You have siblings that are like that.
Yeah.
I have siblings that are like that. I have friends that are like that. I was like, until they go through it themselves, they have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean? Racism doesn't exist. I'm like,
for who?
Hello. You know, I was like, what? Yeah. I was like, what do you mean? My group of friends is very diverse. And I was like, what? You have one half Asian friend.
Right.
Everybody else is not any half of anything but white. You know, it's like, that's not, you know, where are we at?
Yeah.
So.
Or everyone just speaks English.
Yeah.
You know?
And everybody, you know, speaks only English.
Yeah.
I was like, well,
That's
okay.
bananas.
It is to you.
Yeah.
But.
I know.
Our current climate of this country is most people don't understand that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that same concept. It's like, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So stop thinking you know everything and just go, I don't know most things. That's just true.
Yeah.
That is just true. If you think you know over 50% of all facts across the planet,
yeah,
you're delusional.
Like I'm at like 0.05.
You're delusional. Delusional,
Yeah.
because geniuses probably know 15 to 20.
Right.
These are the people that are.
0.01.
No, I'm just saying. It's insane to think you know most things. I was like, that's insane.
All right. Off the cuff. I feel like I tinkle. Top 5 values for you right now.
We were going to do this.
You want to do 3 or 5?
Are we going to do 3?
Okay.
Do you want to put them on paper and just discuss them?
Yeah. Can you chat while I tinkle?
Yeah, I just need another beer and I have to tinkle soon.
Okay.
Getting a beer?
Sure.
Don't be peeing in my cup. All right, so top 3 values, but she's not going to hear them. So you're going to hear my pencil go. No, but really, and on that note, like Keith I agree, boomers, divorced, and that made an impression on us. Of course it did. I mean, my parents were divorced by the time I was like 6, I think. But it's also one of those things, like, not all boomers got divorced, but I think it was boomers are we can't put it on a generation thing. I think boomers for sure had like this, because boomers are basically called boomers because they had a bunch of kids after the war. I mean, from what I understand, that's the whole point of why they're called boomers. But they also had a bunch of kids and then didn't know what it was like to raise kids. They just, because protection wasn't a thing. Getting married, you had to get married before sex, and then had all these kids, and then you're going, I'm married with kids, and it was like, this is definitely not what I wanted. So of course they got divorced. So then boomers getting divorced is kind of like a direct result of why they're called boomers. That makes sense? I think that's what it makes sense. So right now, the current top 3 values. Right now, relationships with my kids. That's what I'm going to put here. I'm saying it quiet because she's going to come back. Relationships with my kids. Reduce economic idiocy. I think that's what it is. And I'm whispering on here, but I know that the mic can pick me up because I said it, so it can. And I don't know my third one yet. Oh. I got it.
What you got?
Um. Wrote it backwards. uh. Yeah.
You putting in the order of
No.
importance? Okay.
Not at
cool.
all. Not at all.
Okay.
I think they're all.
They can't be equal.
No, I think they kind of all. Like, They
No.
have to be. Like, I don't have one that's like. No, I can't.
Okay.
I can't prioritize 3 things.
Okay.
If it was 5, maybe.
All right.
But 3, no.
Okay.
We want to do a shot before this because it's gonna be a discussion.
Always a discussion. Sure. I need your cup, please. Well, talk while I pour.
Okay. So the
You want
one,
the
first thing,
1.1?
the first, what's that? A little one. First thing that I put down. So what are we talking about?
We're talking about
What's
our
the time?
values.
What are our current values?
Correct.
Our current values, mine. The first thing that I wrote down.
Top 3.
I know. I
was telling them.
we're doing 3, but I said the first thing that I wrote down was quick.
Okay.
Was relationships with my kids.
Ooh, that's good.
That's kind of a really big priority of mine.
Yeah.
Right now, and other times it probably wasn't, but right now it really is, and that's all of them.
Yeah.
Like, I got 5 kids. Okay.
So many.
No, but it's like I can have a good relationship, a good working relationship. I don't mean like working like we work together.
Yeah.
A good functional relationship with all 5 of them, as long as I treat all 5 of those relationships differently.
Yes. They're so different.
Then I can.
Yeah.
No, all 5 of them are drastically different.
Yeah.
Like, they could never be in a music group together. There'd be so many fights.
I don't think there would.
Oh, I think there would be.
No.
I'm the star. And then the other person's like, do whatever you want. And the other person's like, I'm going to kick all your asses. I was like, I'm going to be the best, though, at this. Like,
Okay, you're missing one. I already know every single one you're missing one kid.
I was like, I'm already the best.
Okay, I don't know who that one is.
That's CJ.
Oh, I thought CJ was I'm going to be the best at blah, blah, blah.
No, that's Mariah.
No, Mariah's I'm going to kick everyone's A.
What? Then I don't know. I did have somebody in mind every time I said
the first one was
something.
Ariel.
I'm the star.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like Bailey and Elise would be the same person.
I agree.
And they're just like, okay, guys, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's, I find
Yes.
kind of encompass both
Okay,
of them. It's
that's
like,
fair.
oh, you guys are fine.
Yeah. And CJ is.
I'm already the best. What are you
the
talking
best.
about?
And Mariah's like, I'm whoop everybody in the shape.
I'm gonna do everything better than all
and
you.
then I'm going to win.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna win at solos. And they're like, this is a group. But I really feel like there's some similarities between Bailey and Elise when it comes to their, like, the only difference is, the one big difference that I can see in those two is Bailey really admires her mom and really wants to be more like her mom. That's a cool thing. Elise doesn't like the fact
that she's like her mom.
that she's like her mom.
Yet.
In certain ways.
She will.
In certain ways.
She will one day.
But she's also 22 years
Yeah.
old. You know, she's still young.
Yeah.
So that was my first one, was my big value.
Okay.
My big value is my relationship. I put a strong, very big price tag.
Yeah.
On my relationships with my kids.
So I think mine's similar, but I just wrote quality family time. Because mine's,
Wow, that's broad. And
it is broad, but let me
you gotta
land.
break that down.
Let me land. I don't want to just spend time with people. I want to spend life with people, right? And so it's not just, why are your eyes so big? Why'd you talk for 5 minutes and you have to make faces at mine? I'm gonna finish talking now. I want it to be not like the kids, of course, but I also want, like, there's so many family members we have where we don't get to spend time with them.
That's so true.
So I again, I think broadly we're still on the same thing, family values, right? But
Yeah.
I still want it to be like, I want to see people and not just on a phone call and not just a message. Like even when we had a family member who was like moving, and I'm like, I don't want it to be a message that we find out what you're doing in your life. Like I want it to be an actual conversation, or we see
I
you in
agree with that.
person.
That's good.
So that's why I was like, we have good family time, but sometimes it's not always quality. Sometimes it's just like in a passing moment, or someone's just visiting for a day. And I'm like, I want it to be like, I want good family time.
I feel like would probably be my top 5.
Yeah.
But it's not my top 3. Like right now, my current is my kids.
Yeah.
My kids are in my top 3. Everybody else in the family is definitely my top 5. But not
and I think it's just because there's just been so much loss. Where I'm like,
your family's
friggin' A, man.
going through a lot of
woo,
a lot of death.
Yeah,
is happening.
So I think that's why right now, because I like where the relationship with the kids are right now. I like that I
don't like mine so much,
right?
Because they're not chitty chatty with me.
Yeah,
the only that's not true. Not all of them.
Yeah.
I'd say Ariel, Bailey, CJ,
right,
are pretty chitty chatty.
Yeah.
With me right now. And even though Ariel and Bailey, like, it's just a text, or we're like, oh my god, that's so hilarious,
right.
Blah blah blah.
But it's something.
And then CJ is like, oh my god, did you know that?
Yeah.
You know,
random fact.
Gumball is coming back, and I was like, what? I didn't know. It was just like one of those things. Like, so there's chit chat, but with Mariah and Elise, it's just like there's no chit chat anymore. And I think that's just a season,
right?
But I was just like,
I force chit chat.
Yeah,
You're not a forcer. You're a wait and see what happens.
Yeah, but I'm also understanding that because I failed Bailey so hard when it comes to not forcing the chit chat, that I still have to every once in a while go,
yes,
not just ask what's up, but it's like, hey, thinking about you, I think you're awesome.
Yeah.
Those kind of things, just little blurb.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that taught me Bailey and I's relationship, the rough parts.
Yeah.
Really showed me there's like, don't force it too hard, but you gotta force something.
Yeah. Yeah, I force it. So
yeah, but you're allowed to because you're a mom. But you're a mom, right? You're a mom.
Yeah.
Like I feel like moms are allowed to force it. If a dad forces it, they're like, just leave me alone.
Sometimes I force chit chat on Ariel and Bailey too.
Good for you.
I feel like I text Bailey today a picture of my beer and my tequila shot, and I said, Friday. I said, happy Friday. Sometimes I'll text Ariel and be like, here's the thing I'm thinking of, or I saw bread pudding and it made me think of you. I just
good for you.
Force conversation on people.
No, because I do
and
that.
Sometimes it could be
I do that with them too because it's easier. Because like with Bailey, I can go, this song made me cry, or it's like, oh my god, this song made me do this. It's like, oh my gosh, I miss you. I was like, how the babies, those kind of things. Ariel's like writing a book, so I was like, oh, tell me about the book. I was like, oh, okay, Linya's crazy. Let's talk about this. Elle's so weird. Like, it's just like, you can do those kind of things, but I just feel like I don't have that conversation. I don't have that connection right now with Elise and Mariah.
Yeah.
There's just no connection. I mean, and if I want to talk about Magic the Gathering or cards or those kind of things, is like, she's kind of like, I know more than you now. And I was like, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And that's,
I can still chat about it.
No, but that's great.
Yeah.
But it was like, I feel like a little off-put going,
Yeah.
It's fine.
All right.
But yeah, that's
what's number 2? Not your number.
What was your first?
Quality family time. And yours was relationship with the kids.
Oh, yeah. My value right now, in my top 3 is to reduce my economic idiocy.
Oh, that's a good one. We didn't do this. What does that mean?
Okay, you ask me a question and then do a shot. All right. Blancheva.
Salut.
Understanding that some of my financial decisions affect other people. And that's becoming a little bit more of something that's a value of mine now. It's not just something I'm looking into.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to be all that, like, let's try and be a little bit debt free. Let's have some money to travel. Let's do all those kind of things. Let me contribute to that, because I was like, I think I've gone enough years of not making enough money where I was like, that was a great idea. You got to make some money, that kind of thing. So reducing like it's becoming a value of mine now. Is like, there's so many things that I want to buy right now. So many things.
Yeah.
And I've bought none. I mean, that's not true.
Whoop.
I bought a Whoop band.
And some shoes.
No, shoes is for work.
He had shoes for work.
When was the last time I bought a guitar?
No, last year.
It's been a while.
You bought one last year?
This one. The last one I bought. No, the one that's on the couch.
Yeah.
But that was only like $300. But I play that the last guitar that I bought, one of the cheapest ones I bought, I play that more than anything. I play that almost every other day. It's in my hand. No, I'm just saying, reduce that idiocy of me. Like, I mean, you laugh at it because it's an idiocy. Like, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get the value of money.
I know.
I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I was like, money's you spend it.
Right.
You get stuff.
Yeah.
You do things with it. I'm like, what?
So mine's also money wise, but mine's always financial stability. But that's something to my core, and it's something of. We had this weird thing that where we were from that everyone assumed that we always had money.
Ooh.
Like growing up, people just assumed that we had money.
You know,
because we had
growing up.
Go ahead.
My growing up, here's the relative part. We were dirt ass poor. That's how we were looked upon growing up. That was us. So I think that might be the difference.
Yeah. Because people assumed we didn't feel like we always had money. But I've never not felt taken care of by my parents, right? Mom didn't go to work until we were in high school. Some of us were already out of high school. So it was always dad. Yeah. Dad always made sure that we had what we needed to, not making really good financial decisions in the meantime. But so I feel like I'm living the life of my dad, which I didn't really want to. Like, I feel like I don't make good financial decisions, but I make the decisions to have the kids have the life that I want them to have.
True.
And
that's
so
very true for you.
Yeah. And so I feel like where we're at now, I've made all the decisions, right? It's done. It's made. But I want to be in a healthier financial place than we are. And this has been a not a disagreement, but a point that we haven't agreed on in a long time, because
we just don't, I mean, that's where you come from. I come from, my mom always worked, and we were always poor. We're always told we were poor by just all my friends, everybody. Like, I couldn't make a friend that was rich. It was hard.
Yeah.
Because there's like, what do you mean you can't just get in your car and drive 50 miles and go to the movies? And I was like, what?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, it's only $100. I was like,
that's like
I have zero.
Right.
Like zero.
Yeah.
And if I asked my mom for money, she's like, well, what do you think? I was like, we have food in the fridge, and we have. I was like, I don't have anything, right? So it was kind of like, I was always told we were poor by the family unit that I was living in, and told I was poor by the society I went to high school in.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there like, if I have $20, I'm rich.
I know.
No, I was like. But see, that I think that's where that mentality is like, I'm rich. If I have $20, I'm rich.
Yeah.
And I even feel like that today. Like, when I can go in, like, even today when I was like going in and picking up a small bottle of this and some fancy beer, and the tab was like $50, and I'm like, I'm rich. I can just spend $50. You know, and I'm in my 50s, and I still have that mentality in my brain. I was like, I have $50 that I can just spend it. I'm rich.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things. It was like, I think it's a mentality that we tell ourselves. And it's like, we can go back to our upbringing, but it was like, maybe that's a reflection of us and how we reacted to our upbringing.
Right.
It's not our upbringing. I'm not going to, I would never blame it on my upbringing.
No.
but I could blame it on my reaction to my upbringing.
Yeah.
I can definitely blame it on that.
Yeah.
So-
So yeah, I'm
That's why I was like, I want to reduce, like, if I could spend $50, doesn't mean I'm rich.
right.
So reduce my economic idiocy.
Yeah.
Like, that's idiotic.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, I'm an idiot. I was like, I need to reduce that.
Yeah. I agree. Okay. What's your third one?
What about your third one? Oh. Mine is, here we go.
Okay.
Ready for it?
Yep.
Staying partner sexy.
Oh, that's good. What does that mean for you?
Like, you and I, a big value is of mine that makes me more happy than anything in the world is you finding me attractive and me finding you attractive.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing. If I have that, everything else is fine. Like, I was like, oh, I can do this. I think that's, and I know it says sexy, but it was more like, I like you, I adore
Yeah.
you, I respect you, I do those things. It's like, and I feel that same from you. It was like, all these other things are going to kind of fall into place.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to put it, so I just put staying partner sexy.
I went more broad, but I did put I want a healthy marriage. Like that's a big value of mine. And I mean healthy in all the ways.
I think that's part of that. I think that's
agree.
what that is. It's
I
like,
agree.
I have to have mad respect for you.
Yeah.
And you have to have mad respect for me to be, you don't have to, but I was like, to have a healthy marriage,
Right.
those are the two things. Or healthy partnership, healthy
Yeah.
friendship, healthy,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
I'm not going to have sex with my friends, but I'll have sex with this friend, you know?
Oh, Lord.
No, really, I was like, that's important to me.
Yeah.
I was like, you being funny is important to me too.
Yeah.
Like, you thinking I'm funny, pretty important. But I also got to be funny.
Right.
I can't just like, you can't just pretend that I'm funny.
I've never. I hope you know that. I've never pretended you're funny. Either you're funny or you're not. And I think that's good for
It's
you.
kind of like, what was that? Who sings that song? Girls don't like boys, they like cars and money.
Yeah.
What is that song?
They
They will laugh at boys when they're not funny.
I
Yeah,
think
that
it's Good
thing.
Charlotte. These girls,
Whatever that
girls
is,
and,
like-
it's literally called Girls and Boys. It's on my playlist right now.
I love that song.
Yeah.
Because it's so like, it's just stating facts.
Yeah.
Like
I
the whole
don't-
song just states facts.
I'm not gonna laugh if you're not funny. I'll smile.
Now, sometimes you go like, that's not
No.
funny.
I mean, I will literally. It's
I
not
was like,
funny.
Nah, I don't
I've had
get
people
it.
try to tell me jokes, and I'm like,
You're like, it's not offensive. She's not offended. She's
No.
like, that just does
it's not funny.
not funny.
It's good to be like, it's not funny, and I'm like, no,
No.
it's not.
And what's funny, what's hilarious is I have my two older daughters are very the same with me. They're like, that was funny.
Right.
The next one is like,
No,
nah,
didn't land.
not funny. But I also treated them like I didn't coddle my old. Maybe I should have, but
you didn't coddle any of them. I know you
Mm,
think you did.
I think Mariah more than anybody.
Mm,
There was a lot more hugs. There was a lot more. She'd lay on my lap.
because she
hug
was
her.
a cuddly. She was a
Yeah,
cuddler.
so it's
She's like a puppy.
it's not like I wouldn't accept it.
Yeah.
I don't instigate it.
Yeah.
I'm not an instigator of cuddling.
No.
Just not.
I know I try to cuddle you all the time. You're like, get off me.
What are you doing here? If you're not naked, why are you cuddling with me? This is weird.
Anyways, but yeah, healthy marriage is big on mine. And again, even sometimes I think that's one of those things of what a healthy marriage looks like doesn't change. Because a marriage and like what it means can change, but a healthy marriage to me is we are laughing and we are telling each other what
True.
we're feeling.
That's true. No, I see what
And
you're saying.
we can go on a walk for a mile and a half and then maybe not say a single word and we're not mad at each other. We're just hanging out.
Can we just drive a car? Why do we gotta walk?
Because I like walking.
No,
So
all
I
I'm
said
saying-
walking.
all I'm
'Cause
saying
if we're
is-
driving, I'm asleep.
You're absolutely right. Those things are what, it looks different for everyone.
Yes.
A healthy marriage is different for everyone.
Right. I'm talking about
right?
for you and me. I mean, I
Yeah,
shouldn't say that. I'm talking about for me.
But the way you said it,
Yeah.
made sense for everyone. To be honest.
Oh, does it?
Like, yeah, like if the person's not telling you jokes and you honestly think they're funny, then something's off, right?
I don't know.
Or it doesn't have to be a joke. Maybe you're not a joking
Yeah.
couple, but you're having a conversation. The other person is like engaged in the conversation.
Yeah.
Isn't that the same as like you tell me a joke and I think it's funny?
Oh,
An engaging conversation is like you say something and I'm interested in what you're saying.
okay.
Very similar to me.
Okay. I'm going to say no because there are plenty of times where a healthy marriage to me is like, I want to be able to laugh with you and at you because I think that's nice.
But that's your
wait, let me
version.
finish. But sometimes you will explain things to me and I'm like, gee, mini Christmas.
I agree with you.
Please.
But I feel like there's other relationship, other marriages that do that and they don't laugh as much.
Yeah.
But they have good conversation and they enjoy the conversation
That's
more
true.
than we like to laugh.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's
Yeah.
healthy too. It's
Yeah.
like
Agreed.
we're a laughing
Yeah.
relationship.
Yes.
I have to find you funny and you have to find me funny. Otherwise, what are we doing?
Yeah, I can't.
But other relationships, they're not like that.
That's true.
There's like you have to be engaging in what I'm engaged in.
Yeah.
Not specifics, but we have to. Yeah.
Keith said walking as a couple is good. Leslie and I do it often. Scooter doesn't like walks as much. We have found a route that he's okay with. If it's just around the block, he's like, why are we doing
Yeah,
this?
but with this new route, we get to climb up this little dirt hill and walk across this hill thing where you can see everything. And we've seen squirrels and birds fighting.
Yeah.
We've seen. I was like, I'm okay with
There's
this.
some graffiti. Yeah.
Yeah, there's good graffiti. There's more.
I love walking.
There's more randomness.
Yeah. Yes.
Like I promised myself something when I moved to California to look up.
Yeah.
And if I look up and I see nothing, I'm like, why'd I move to California? Right? I see the same houses I could have seen in Tacoma, Washington.
Yeah.
Right? But the little dirt hill is fun.
Yeah.
I think that's one of my funnest parts of the whole trip. And my second funnest is when we walk really close to the highway.
Yeah.
There's this little trail by the highway and you get to see all the cars. I was like, you get to see things besides just
houses.
backyards.
Yeah.
Or the
walls.
The brick of a building.
Yeah.
Like I want to see stuff.
Yeah.
I like to see things because that was my first thing when I literally moved here and I got my first job in the Bay. I got to see not my first palm tree, but I got to see my first palm tree that I'm going to see for a long time.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to see palm trees every day now.
Yeah.
That's insane. Because I was come from the Northwest where there's no palm trees.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is cool now. But now if I look up and I just see a wall, I'm like, well, I can go live in Tacoma. Yeah. Yeah. That was kind of my thing. So it was like that. I got to have a purpose. The walk. Yes, I understand that the walk is to hang out with you and we talk about stuff, which we still do that kind of stuff. But if my brain's not stimulated, we've talked about this. The two things that I've found as I've gotten older that I need. One is higher protein diet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I need more left brain stimulation.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't feel good. I just don't feel good.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but it's just true.
Chipping on your values, left brain stimulation.
Nah.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, I appreciate that when our marriage isn't in a healthy place. One, we did do therapy for like almost a year, but also it's like using the stuff that we got in therapy to be like, let's take a second real quick because I want to have a conversation about this. I don't want to like retreat into my hole and be like, you go do you and I'll do me and we'll figure it out later in life.
Not gonna happen.
Right. So I like that right now because it is higher up on our list of values. You have to go tinkle. That it is higher up on our list of values. That
Yeah, let's say it out loud.
I do all the time. I said 3 times already. That we take a moment and sit down and say, what is unhealthy about what we're doing right now? Well, I can't I can't vamp. It's a
Vamp,
unique
come up-
conversation.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I'll just grab a Sparks card.
All right, so now we're going to. Sorry, I was going to tinkle, but we're actually probably going to play this little game that we love so much. Actually, I'm going to do this. All right.
Why'd you stop recording?
I said start recording.
Oh, that's a stop.
Okay, babe, can you just let me be the? Can you let me be the producer and just?
Well,
Because you have no idea how to do any of this.
Well, it said stop.
So when I click,
So
yeah, now it says stop because I already started recording.
Right, fine.
Because I thought I would record this in 1080p.
We're not going to play this the right way either. We're just going to
No. So welcome to the game.
I'm playing without.
So ready?
Because he's going to tinkle. Bonus round. All right, so while he's not here, I'm just going to shuffle the cards and I'm going to pick a card and start talking about it until he gets back. So if you forgot, Sparks is a past, present, future card game. It's really just a conversation to have with people that you love, people that you know. If you did with strangers, I think it'd be kind of odd. So we are just gonna play with each other. And if you have an answer to any of the questions that we're asking, you should put them in the chat because I love to hear people's stories. So, past question. What class or teacher most impacted your life growing up? Ooh, that's a good question. So I don't know if you know this, but I always thought I would be a chef growing up. I always wanted my own restaurant. I love to cook. I love to see people happy eating my food. So, and I don't know anyone's name, so forgive me. But in high school, there was a cooking class where we basically ran the restaurant on campus that fed like teachers. And so we got to do deliveries of like food. We got to make food. Every single day was like something else. We had a special for the day. It was like one of my favorite classes of all time. And the teacher was amazing. And so we got to go to like a culinary school. We got to like sit in the classroom. We got to do like hands-on learning. So that is by far like my favorite class growing up. But I learned once I had kids that being a chef is friggin' hard work and not a lot of pay. And not everybody can be a Gordon Ramsay. So I was like, realistically, I can't work the hours that a chef works because I have 3 kids to take care of, and I need to make more money. So the class, it's still like it made me fall in love with cooking even more. It made me fall in love with like owning a restaurant even more. But then real life set in, and I was like, I can't be a chef. I got stuff to do. I have people to take care of. But that was probably the class, and I can't remember the teacher's name, but that was the class that probably impacted me the most. You want this question? Or you want your own question?
You're just answering questions just randomly?
No, I went past.
Are you doing past first?
Yeah, here's
okay,
yours.
good. Oh, I have a different one?
Yeah.
That way I didn't answer the same one. Are you sure?
Get your own.
Did you look at the rules?
There's no rules. We're playing the game. Answer your question.
That doesn't make any sense. There's no rules. We're playing the game.
Yeah, they're playing
game
my
has
card.
rules.
We're
It's right
playing
there.
my game. Answer the question.
All right. So sorry, Rabble game. For
You've already apologized to them for me not playing correctly all the time.
it's just the way she just plays her own rules. Yeah. But did you read the little card at the beginning?
No.
I'll read the card. Give me that card, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. The whole point of this game, here's the cool part about the whole point of this game is we created Sparks to show how play helps deepen relationships. We truly hope Sparks brings you closer to the people around you. Let us know. Let us know how your night went.
I am correct.
So the whole point of this game, there's no winner or loser, anything of this. So that's the best part about this game.
We are playing correctly. We each draw a card and answer
That's fine.
it.
It's fine.
I read how to play.
Sorry it took too long. I was gone for a while because I've been blowing my nose so much because of my sinus infection.
You don't have to tell people
that I had like this pimple on the end of my nose.
Oh gosh.
So I had to.
You weren't gone that long.
I thought I was gone forever
No.
because I had to purge this.
Nope.
It was like ready to go and everything. I was like, "Woo, you got to get out of there."
What's your question?
My my Sparks question. This is a past question,
Mhm.
right? Did you explain the game at all, or
Mhm.
you just went on? Okay. If you could thank one person from your past, who would you thank? Huh? Just one.
Just one.
Huh? That's I can't remember his. I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name.
What age? What age range are we talking about?
I was probably junior high school.
Okay.
Think so. Maybe sophomore.
Let's just skip the name. Why would you thank him?
Because he let me be weird.
That's nice.
What was his name?
It's okay.
He was the English teacher.
Okay.
He let me and my good friend at the time, Chris Day, be a little weird.
Nice.
He was an English teacher, and I'm not good at school. High school. I hated it.
Yeah.
I was not good at it. But he let us be really weird.
Oh, it's nice.
Because we had to do certain things in the classroom, and I was like, can I just make can I do an advertisement or an advertisement for like a caffeine pill? And he's like, it's supposed to be an essay. I was like, no, I want to make these little things that are like like caffeine pills and stuff like that. And I want to do a whole 30-second commercial.
Yeah.
Can I do it live? And he's like, I guess. I was like, you're supposed to do it in an essay. And I was like, yeah, but I was like, can I just do that? And he's like, yeah. So I can't remember what I called them, but I had these little purple perky pills, and I did all this whole thing. So I was like, I got a good grade. I was
Nice.
like, I still wrote it out.
Yeah.
I was like, I did a 30-second thing.
You're a performer.
And he also we were supposed to write a poem because we had to learn how to rhyme and do this. And I was like, can I just write a song? And I'll bring in my guitar. My buddy Chris, will help me sing the song, and we're going to do this thing. And it's kind of a funny song, but it's not super, there's some death involved in the song. This is in Columbus, Montana. And I was like, I guess, can I read it first? And I was like, ready to say it. He goes, that's pretty funny. I was like, okay. So it was literally a song about me being a farmer, and I accidentally ran over my wife with a combine.
Okay.
But I didn't. It was kind of like I wrote it in the same flavor as the grandma got run over by a reindeer.
Yep.
It wasn't the same notes or anything but the concept was similar. It was like I didn't mean to do it. It was like, because all I remember in the song was like, I didn't mean to do it, Meg. Her name was Meg. But it was like, but he was after that, him and the guy that I got my second minor in possession with, he was the police officer that taught the classes, like, hey, this is what this is about and stuff like that. Him and my English teacher used to stay after school, and we all brought our guitars and would plug in and jam.
Nice.
This was sophomore year, junior year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of I don't think he liked me, but it was more like, he's just like, this guy's weird. I was like, he's doing weird stuff, and we don't have enough weird people, I guess, in this town, because there's only 24 people in my class.
Yeah.
Nobody was doing
graduating class.
Yeah, but it was 20. Yeah. Whatever, 24 people in the sophomore year. 24 people in the junior year.
You have to be really specific, because 24 people in a class is that's normal. No, he means his graduating class was 24 people.
Yeah, the whole senior class was 24 people.
Psychotic.
I graduated 23rd.
Yeah.
Because the 24th person had to go to summer school. Boom. That's
all right.
bad.
Question number 2.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, here's yours.
Yeah.
I'll talk next because you just talked.
Yeah.
How do you usually make decisions when there are no clear answers? I don't.
A D6 or a D20?
How do I usually make decisions when there are no clear answers? I am the worst decision maker. No, I make good decisions when I make them, but sometimes it takes me a really long time to make decisions, like
Years.
years. I was gonna say months, but years sometimes to make decisions.
Sounds years.
So I just play the waiting game. It's gonna sound to people it's gonna sound crazy, and to other people they'll be like, well, that's just a prayer. But I literally will just say out loud what I'm looking for. What do you want?
The box, please.
Oh.
I was just trying to motion instead of being verbal.
I'll say out loud what I'm looking for and like my thought process, and then I kind of just wait for the answer to come to me or for it to just land in my lap. And then I say, yep, that's the answer. So I don't know that I make decisions. I just wait for the universe to assist in my decision making.
So it sounds like you don't make decisions.
I said that.
Okay.
Your turn.
Jeez. So present. All right. When you travel, what types of experiences do you prioritize having? New ones? No. Whatever the wherever we go, I always want to find out what the locals do.
Yeah.
I'm a big I feel like I'm trying to find out. We always stay in a place that usually has, not always, we normally stay in a place that has like a bar, right? So we go down to that bar and we talk to the person that works there. And the person that works there usually lives there.
Yeah.
In that area. So we go, hey, we're thinking about going out to dinner. Where would you go? It's pretty normal that we ask that question.
True.
And then they go, oh, you should check out this district or go up to this area. And I was like, I think that's what we prioritize. I think the first time we did that was when we went to Ireland.
Yeah.
And we were just like trying to talk to the local people and then find out, go to this pub on the thing. And I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Go to the mile and go to this distillery. Remember, it was like that distillery, like nobody knew who they were at all.
Yeah.
Except for people
Edinburgh.
that live there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was nice.
So it's kind of one of those things of asking, I prioritize getting to know somebody that lives there.
Yeah.
We're not chummy, but like talking with somebody that lives in that area so that I can find out what you guys go do. Cause I don't want to.
The tourist traps are not a thing.
They're nice. They're nice to tour. They're nice to tour a castle. Like Edinburgh Castle was really cool to tour.
Yeah.
But that was an hour and a half of our life.
I mean, like.
That was, it took about an hour and a half. Right?
Yeah.
I was like, but we're here for 7 days.
Right.
I'm not going to spend 7 days touring Edinburgh Castle.
You can't go there and not see castles.
Yeah, it was like,
Crazy.
but yeah, if you're going to Edinburgh and Edinburgh Castle's there, you go see Edinburgh Castle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, yeah. So I just feel like the local pubs, when we went to Ireland and then Dublin, we went off the beaten path down the brick road and found that place was just packed with people with dirty boots and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that was so fun. I think it's more like finding what they do, because I was like, I can go to freaking BJ's restaurant, Five Guys. We did go to Five Guys in Edinburgh, but everything else is closed. But it was like, you can go to the franchises are everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. But where's the local music? Where's the local pub?
You know what we should have done when we were over there was actually gone to McDonald's, because everyone friggin'
we did go to McDonald's.
Did we?
Yeah, we didn't have food. I just had to pee.
Yeah, we never ate. Like,
No,
everyone raves about the food at McDonald's over there.
No, we went to McDonald's and the ordering system was top notch. Like every every place that you sat had like a little iPad in it and
we
stuff.
Didn't get any food.
No, I just had to pee.
Yeah, I don't even like McDonald's, but
So we
everyone
did go to
talks
McDonald's
about McDonald's.
because I had to pee.
Me.
So I peed at McDonald's in Edinburgh.
There you go. All right. Futures.
Ow, you poked me again.
What personal milestones are you celebrating in the next few years? I'm talking this into existence right now. 3 of them. Number 1, I am going to get back in shape.
Okay.
I'm going to get into a shape. That's not this one. I'm
That's
not gonna get
weird.
back into shape. I'm gonna get into A shape.
I don't want to.
That's better than this one. You want me
Yeah.
to what?
I like you to be. I
Round?
like you to like yourself.
Me too, and I don't like myself right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So okay, we'll say that. I'm going to like myself. Number 2. What was it?
Hurt my hand. I think you.
What
stabbed
person
me.
I'm sensory summer next few years? Number 2, into existence. We're going to go.
How many things did it say? One.
It didn't. It says what personal milestones
Oh, it's plural.
are you celebrating in the next few years?
This could go on for a minute.
Number 2, we're gonna go out of country in the next couple years. I don't know where, but I'm speaking to existence. I want to go out of country again in the
You
next
might
couple
have to
years.
wait. Yeah, just wait.
I can't.
Well, you might have to.
It's fine.
I'll just wait until we can.
You're
come back.
Canadian. It's fine.
Wait, that's kind of my point.
I can come back.
I was like, yeah, hi, babe.
What's our third milestone?
Didn't say 3. You said milestones.
I said I'm gonna do 3.
Okay.
I
That
don't
means I have
two.
to do 3.
You don't even know what's on yours yet.
Oh yeah, it's true. Good call.
Okay, I'll do 2. Go
I
ahead.
like the
What's
that
yours?
part of the. I like the part of this game that you don't have to think about the question. Future. You can erase one thing from existence. What do you choose?
Mm.
Wow. One thing.
Make it good.
Ah. Is it gonna be? I can make very broad
Yeah,
because that's who I am. I was like negative isms.
that's good. It's a lot.
That's one thing though.
It is.
But if we're gonna focus on it, I think it was.
Oh, flies in here.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't have to say it.
They can't
You have
see
to
it.
verbalize. Yeah, but they can hear it.
No, I can't. I'm not gonna make it, guys.
Oh my god. Okay, never mind. Go on to her question because she's swan
I
flies.
already answered my question. It's your question.
Swan flies.
Just take it off me.
Obviously, no, hold on. You're gonna erase one anything in existence. Flying
Flies.
things. It's not flies. Anything that's flying is what you freak out about. Oh, mine are negative isms. Like, I mean, we have this discussion a lot with your siblings. It's like, we're judgy people. Everybody's judgy.
Yeah.
I feel that very strongly. We all make judgments. Otherwise, how can you make a decision?
Right.
You have to make a judgment call based on the things that you've experienced or know, and then you move forward.
Yeah.
That's being judgy to me. Like, but I also, if it's based on something that has no knowledge behind it, has no fact behind it, I'd like to erase that.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by the negative isms. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
It's good.
I mean, all those other ones like socialism, communism, capitalism, all those things, there's some negative and positive connotations to all of them.
Yes.
But if you base it on fact, then some of them might work for you, some of them might not.
Yeah.
But if you talk about, sexism,
I'll say hatredism, but that's nothing.
sexism, racism, just like,
Yeah.
like, that's weird
I agree.
to me. Like, you have a vagina. That means you're dumb.
You're right.
That's weird.
I agree.
I was
Good
like,
answer.
oh,
I thought you were gonna say traffic.
well, that's another thing. But it was like, but I feel like the future, the only thing to do about the traffic can erase. That's not a race. I was like, create something, teleportation. I'm a big teleportation
What if we
fan.
get traffic in the teleportation timelines?
Then you and I show up as the same person and go, let's try that again.
Yeah.
And then we just do it again. And then we separate.
Never know.
Star Trek did it. Fine.
Bray and Star Trek.
Beam me up, baby.
Let's go do some stuff, man. Thank you guys for checking in.
Keep checking in. We're going to do some
Appreciate
more
it.
stuff.
Yeah.
This summer is going to be fun.
Summer of fun.
Now that it's going to be May is gone.
Now that we found love, what are we gonna do?
We're going to go, hey, June, you are our month.
Good.
We're going to slay it.
Now it's gone too far. He's going to keep going.
And
I can see
make
it.
it something. We're going to kill it. We're going to travel, do some cool stuff.
This is a weird theme song.
If you will be there. But most of you won't. Nailed it.
Nailed it.
All right. Love you guys. We will see you very soon. Probably not next week.
No.
We are doing some travels. But if some people get a little crazy out there, because some of the people that we're going to visit do like to be on camera.
I love the chat.
So we'll see you very soon. We love you guys. Show up in real life. If you don't, you're missing out.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
And bye.
And I loved it. Bye.